Welcome to Bourbon with Brad.
If you advise clients on AI, data, privacy, or cybersecurity, you cannot afford to miss a development. And right now, developments are happening ever so quickly. Docket Daily tracks every AI, data, privacy, and cybersecurity legal development across all 50 states and the federal government, and delivers to you every morning an updated, curated, attorney-reviewed digest. Proposed bills, enacted laws, regulations, court opinions, executive orders, every jurisdiction, every day, as well as the news headlines. Docket Daily launches May 20th, 2026. First 100 pre-subscribers get 50% off. Stop guessing what you missed. Start your subscription today.
We are back in the Bourbon Studios in Indiana, PA. It's a little bit of a deluge outside, but we're going to make up for it inside.
It is nice and dry in here.
Yeah, it is. And we got to...
Not for long.
Oh, not for long. Not for long. We already got our pre-pour in hand, right?
We do.
Cheers cheers to that, boys, huh?
Yeah, cheers.
We've made it to the end of the week.
I can't believe there's any of this SB House left.
Oh, I know. Well, that's because we bought quite a few bottles.
Bottles or barrels?
Well, we bought a whole barrel, so we did get quite a few bottles, didn't we, Perry?
I didn't get mine today. They weren't there yet.
Oh, not there yet, huh?
Yeah, Sarah was a little disjointed. I guess Greg has been out of town, and somebody was supposed to deliver it. And she goes, I hate taking this stuff on. I don't know anything.
You're right.
Anyway, so it did not come.
All right. Well, if you need any, I got some.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. It'll be in next week, and I'm away next 4 days anyway. So
it's good stuff, right?
Thanks. Yeah, it's very good.
But we are moving on to a new bourbon today.
We are. We have.
Yeah, and Louis, you brought it. Tell us what it is.
We had. I've told everybody I'm kind of a neophyte at this bourbon thing, and
no, not about that anymore.
6-7 weeks into it, I'm getting a little bit better at it. But the first week, I bought the Penelope Rio, and I didn't know much about it, and it was really good. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go get it again. Well, I went to the store and it happened to be out of it. So I got Penelope, their 4-grain straight whiskey tonight. So that's
one of their
what we
staples.
have. And I'm going to tell you, these bottles these bottles just look, they look like a Greyhound. It's just slim. It's sleek. It just looks enticing to me.
It's a good. They do it. It's a good logo. That big decorative P on the it's very distinct. You can spot it a mile away. It's good markeking.
Yeah, Penelope being named after the founder's daughter. So
oh, is that right?
Yeah, it is. There's a special meaning to that. So
nice.
Kind of like our fifth segment bourbon.
Yeah. Well, we haven't tasted.
It does definitely get special at the end, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
We haven't. It gets
special takes on many different meanings with us.
It's like it turns into a rye at the end because it gets pretty spicy.
It gets a little spicy.
We haven't cracked this one yet, but
we have not. We're going to crack it in the second segment. We're going to finish up our SB House.
Yeah, it's easy for you.
Sure. Yeah, it's you can see how it's going today, right? Rattling off these headlines, trying to stay up to date on everything, Perry. Trying to, we pre-launched the website too before we get into,
yeah. You should probably give yourself a little plug for that.
Yeah, I mean, we pre-launched the site today. We're officially a week out from the official launch. When subscribers can actually start seeing the digest. They're working perfectly. There's really not much to work out. I just want to get through a few more small iterations and perfect it because that's my OCD, as you know. It just.
Well, I'm sure it would
I
be
would
perfect
expect nothing less from you.
Yeah, it just exactly. I drive Claude nuts going back and forth. I'm like, all right. It goes, we can deal with that later. I said, no, we're gonna deal with it right now. But
Claude's probably had about enough.
He's about had enough of me. He's like, you need to downgrade from the enterprise version because this is just ridiculous.
Has Claude had any choice words for you? Are we to the point now where Claude can talk back to you in language that might not be suitable for all audiences?
Yeah, right. I think I am the single-handed reason why Anthropic has gone out and had to buy 3 more infrastructure deals this week.
Yeah, you're probably right. You'll know you made it whenever
right.
Dario starts reaching out to you. Saying,
Dario's like,
"Hey,
listen,
dude,
man, we can either cut these, multi-billion-dollar deals with Google, SpaceX, and Acme Technologies up in, But that was our headline here at the end of the week. But yes,
he should be giving you some of the stock for that IPO for helping push it to its limits. That's what he should be doing.
I'm definitely pushing those edge cases.
Then you can retire, re-retire, and then take all of us with you just so you have something to do.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, can I ask? I happened to see while I was at the pharmacy today a headline about 3 IPOs that are pending. Perhaps you caught this on the news and I missed it today. 3 pending IPOs, all potentially over $1 trillion valuation.
We've been talking about that in the headlines, Lou. It's amazing. Think about it, right? I mean, you're a stock guy. You've dabbled in it over the years, right? But to think that there's 3 private companies all at once out there that are now beyond the $1 trillion mark, and with Anthropic, Anthropic was initially the lowest of the 3 in valuations, but with the $200 billion deal they cut with Google, with the Colossus deal they cut with SpaceX, taking on all 220,000 of their NVIDIA chips. And now Acme Technologies getting all these edge cases because they're Acme. You weren't around for the headlines, but they aren't even in the business of providing GPU infrastructure. This was their own infrastructure they had set up, and it's not this big training center. This is these GPUs that are all over the place that are used for computer generation imaging in creation. So they've been in that business forever. But then the folks at Anthropic said that's the perfect GPUs to do our inference work, and the inference work is where the agents are actually learning from what they're doing and learning from out there. And so instead of having one thing going on, there may be a million different little latent agents working at a very much lower GPU, but pulling in all this information and kind of always feeding it. So like this neurological interweaving of a computer brain. It's amazing, right?
I just had this vision of an ant hill with all these ants running around underground, and everybody's doing their own little thing, and there's it just all comes together at the same time.
Kind of like that. I think that's a great analogy because that's exactly kind of what they're doing on the inference level, and it's not using a lot of energy but being very productive, and that's an ant to a T, right? So, the headlines have been nuts. The IPO world's going to be nuts. First, the stage has to be set as a result of the OpenAI Musk trial.
Okay.
I don't know if they can go IPO if they get a declaration that goes against them. I'm sure there's going to be appeals, but it certainly makes it a little murky. If you're going to the IPO market, if you have a declaration that says you can't do that, and possibly an injunction that goes along with that. So we'll see.
So does murky mean it's off the table, or is it just it's not $1 trillion? It's down to 800.
No, it's definitely not.
Billion.
No, it's definitely not a devaluation. It's an all or nothing thing because it's not going to go public if it's declared to be a nonprofit, and has to be a nonprofit.
Okay.
So if a judge says that or a jury says that, and the judge reaffirms it, and assuming the appeals fall short, then OpenAI goes back to being a nonprofit, not a for-profit. So they have to restructure everything they're doing. It's not to say that they're not going to still do it, but now you have to do it in a nonprofit manner, and you're going to have to do it by whatever guidelines the court sets out in the final order. So that's an unknown right now. And so if they had, and I don't think they had ambitions of going public here real soon. I think the push was in the fall to start with. But it may get delayed a little bit. It looks like the trial's starting to wrap up on the plaintiff side, so we'll see how that all works out. But it makes it interesting. Makes it for interesting talk. They had the CTO of Microsoft on as one of the last witnesses, and he was powerful. I mean, it was his email that went out in 2018 that Elon's been pointing at, saying, "Look,
here's my receipt."
Even internally, they're questioning. Are we allowed to do this? We're go out and of course he's defending it and saying yes. I wasn't talking about our purpose. I was saying, are we allowed to do it? Go cut a deal with Microsoft. So it's a different
Sure.
Two sides.
Fascinating. It's
two sides every story, right?
At least 2 sides to every story, right? That's why we have a jurisprudence system here, because there's always a different opinion on everything.
And our legal system always figures it out, right?
One way or another, it gets figured out. No doubt.
No, it's pretty fair, though. I got to be honest.
Sure.
And having lived through it and seeing how it works out when you have two sides zealously represented by great advocates, it usually gets to the heart of the matter, and you find out where your weakness is. Even though most cases settle, the number's really high in the 90s, 90%. And even through that process, you figure out the weaknesses and strengths of your case, and it usually comes to a resolution where you're maybe not too happy about it, but you're okay with it, then you probably knew you were in that sweet spot where it probably makes sense and it's a fair resolution for everybody. So yeah, it's interesting to see how it's going to play off. There was settlement talks on the table before, and then basically they threw the gauntlet. I mean, there was innuendos thrown that, possibly threats of, Elon kind of getting all upset over it with Brockman. Don't know if it's true or not, but that's what Greg was saying on the stand. And so, but the other one, SpaceX, boy, with Elon, you just never know. That IPO is going to be crazy. It just, to me, watching him maneuver, and I've said it in the headlines, I'll say it here on our weekly podcast. He is so far ahead of the game as far as thinking ahead and being able to maneuver. And we thought Tesla was a great, and it is. It's a great stock. It's publicly traded. Powerful public company. SpaceX is the next deal. I mean, we're talking, they're cutting deals, possibly with Google, possibly with Anthropic to put data centers in space. They're now utilizing their space capabilities for digital technological advances. That's amazing.
So are we talking here, Brad, about a stationary a data center, or are we talking about something that's actually in motion, in gravity, or in orbit? I guess the proper word would be.
Perry, you can chime in here because I think you're the we got an astrological, not just an expert, but I'm talking astrological expert.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
My question is, if we're talking about these things in space, are we talking about something that's going to be a stationary data center on a star or on the moon or something? Or are we talking about something that's going to be in orbit and this has to stay in orbit?
But there are geosynchronous orbits and there are regular orbits. So
now you're getting the answers.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
So I have an interesting story of how I figured this out. In the first year or so that I was doing astrophotography, I was out at a friend's property out by Georgetown, out past Plumville, where it was a lot darker than it is here. So I was taking pictures of Orion, and I noticed that my tracking was good.
Is Ryan sick and tired of you taking pictures of him yet?
Orion.
Oh, okay. Orion.
It's the Irish guy.
Yeah. Anyway, so I took these pictures, and when I was going through and processing them, I noticed that all the stars were perfectly round. And I was taking 30-second or 1 minute exposures. The stars were perfectly round, but there was this little line, and it was in the same place on every picture. It was the exact same size. And the only thing I noticed is I flipped through the pictures. You can do this thing called blink where you can flip down through them and see things that don't belong. And it would move. And it was so basically if you put them all together, it would make a solid line. And here it was a geosynchronous satellite. So the geosynchronous satellite, my mount was tracking with the stars. The satellite was staying in pace with the Earth so that it never moved. So I could have put my camera on it and left it, and the stars would have streaked, and that thing would have been a steady dot. So some of them move at the same speed as Earth, and some don't.
I think it probably would make a lot of sense. I don't know if it would make any difference because GPUs can be anywhere.
I don't think it would matter.
Yeah, we've talked about that even here. As anywhere in the world, it doesn't discriminate against where it is. It just needs the capacity to be able to compute and be able to transmit it across the.
They would want it to be in an orbit that kept it in sunlight all the time. So it would not be geosynchronous. It would be asynchronous because it would want to be moving at a speed where it would always have the view of the sun so it could have that power.
So it has a constant source of power.
And it's still, even in the sunlight, it's still, I think, minus 200 degrees over there. That's plenty cold.
Are they going to have to heat these? I mean, that's the question.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question.
So that's a good question. I don't know why you would. I mean, they're going to produce their own heat.
Yeah, they're going to provide, and they provide a lot of heat. They're talking about how some of these mega data centers are now actually changing it, the immediate geology right around them by 5 to 6 degrees.
Really?
Yeah. And when I say that, I'm
even with cooling.
Yeah, even with cooling. So that's just the.
Of course, that's probably how the heat's getting out.
Yeah, so the heat's escaping that way. So it just in the immediate vicinity. I'm not talking about, of course,
Yeah.
Those
be careful what you say. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to,
Yeah.
Well, here's my novice question: isn't there a way to harness that?
Well, there are companies that harness
and repurpose that extra energy that they're throwing off that we consider dangerous heat. There's got to be a way to bottle that and redirect that energy into some useful source, I would think.
There is, and there's some cutting edge technologies that are out there that are doing just that, looking to store that energy, looking to capture it from the gas turbines. That energy on one side, the energy from the chips themselves emitting, that's being, evaluated. And there's some great minds looking at that. And I'm sure we're going to start seeing.
Sure.
I would have to think these people are far smarter than I am, that when they build these facilities, there's obviously going to be office space and, other various square footage that's not being used for compute. So it has to have heat. And I mean, air conditioning is a whole other story. But why in the wintertime, especially here, let's face it, in Homer City, we just came off of a horrible winter. Actually, it's still kind of here.
Yeah.
But so I would have to think that you could put a hot water system, heating system in the rest of the building and just utilize that. It's free heat.
It is.
I mean, it's not free, but I mean, it's already paid for.
It's already kind of there, so why not tap into it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to take you off the
No,
point,
you're
but
not.
The question that was when you said they're thinking about doing this stuff up in space on SpaceX.
Well, and that's where you start,
That's what hit me. Is it stationary or is this just like a satellite? Or,
I didn't see that coming, a
Spaceballs
couple of years
floating
ago.
around
No,
out there.
I didn't see that coming a couple of years ago.
I mean, you could if it was feasible and easily attainable, you could put them on the lit side of the moon because it's always lit. Oh no, it's not either. Never mind. Yeah, it would have to be an orbit. It would have to be a asynchronous orbit that would keep it in the sunlight all the time.
but
Because you need the power. That's half and the cooling are the two main.
That's why you're doing it.
huh?
Yeah, going through all that problems, right? And there's been a couple test cases of going up. There was one company that did send a test case up. I think it came back fairly successful. So, maybe that's what they're basing this on. And of course, Elon's got some of the greatest minds, and he's been in space. So, initially when Elon's SpaceX came out and Jeff Bezos, space company, it was all thought about travel to Mars, or maybe, get into kind of like the rich tourists, or colonizing, Mars again, if it was ever colonized before. But here, little did we know these guys are so ahead of their time. They were looking at ways to get off of Earth because they knew the limitations of massive computing power.
They watched James Bond back in the day on Moonraker. Remember? Moonraker was one of those first ones where
Cutting edge movies again. The movies are ahead.
The villain
ahead
of the
it.
day was going to blow up Earth, and but he had a spaceship that was going to take two of the. It was almost like Noah's Ark for the future. If you
That's
remember,
right. I remember that.
And he was going to go
That was a James
to outer
Bond
space.
movie.
It was a James Bond movie.
Interesting analogy that I never thought of that way. If we do have another one of those mass catastrophes, are we going to be seeing a couple spaceships launching off to be the ark of the next generation?
If you got invited to go on SpaceX on a trip, as you sit today, would you go on a trip?
I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, that's an experience that we don't even think about.
I would.
It's hard to fathom,
If
right?
I
For
had
a common person, it's hard to fathom.
Yeah,
If I
I
had
think-
$250,000 laying around, I'd go up in Bezos's penis-shaped ship and just to go into orbit.
Just because it's penis shaped.
Oh, you've seen that thing? It's the weirdest looking.
Wasn't that spaceship at the end of one of those Austin Powers
Yeah.
movies?
It's a giant. It's a giant chicken cock.
yeah. Well, that was last week.
Anyway,
And by the way, that's kind of like a double entendre. Is that what that's called? Double entendre? Am I getting back to my English term?
I think so.
Yeah, boy, I pulled that out.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Wow.
Pulled that out of the old.
And this is early in the night.
It is,
Wow. So I
keeping the
digress.
juices.
I didn't mean to get you off
No,
topic.
but I'm
am,
going to leave that conversation because there's another interesting thing developing that's going on right now, and then it's another company's making waves, literally, in that because they're putting space, or they're putting data centers under the ocean. Another vast resource that can be tapped into for cooling. Natural
I
cooling.
hadn't heard about that one.
Yeah, it's
Nor had I.
yeah.
How do they get the power to it though?
Well, that's the question. So now, are they going to geothermal it through the ocean floor? Are they going to, and is that enough? Are the waves enough that are, naturally around it?
Yeah.
I don't think so. So I think the power is going to have to be some sort of tapped in source coming from either a natural gas line or possibly solar. I don't know if you're out in the middle of the ocean, if we can do it ecologically, great. But again, the great minds are trying to think of natural ways to utilize our environment around us, whether it's in space, whether it's down below. Probably before you know it, they'll start sticking them in caves too,
Hey, planet Earth is a big place.
It is.
And there's a lot. I think most people have a tendency to look at it and say, wow, my town is really big. Okay, what's about 6 square miles? I don't know what the square mileage is of planet Earth, but I know we haven't seen a lot of it yet.
No, and that makes you think, what are the Arctic poles a natural place for it too? I mean, if 200 degrees below Fahrenheit in space makes sense, then why wouldn't the Arctic Circle or the Antarctic?
So theoretically, there should be a spot between the equator and the pole where the temperature gradient, wherever that temperature would be perfect so that you end up at 0. Is that,
I think,
would that make sense?
I don't know. You're going above my head
Yeah,
here.
but there's no place, well, other than the poles. And even there, I think from the one season to the next, I think the temperature shift. It's always very cold there. But if you're at the North Pole, I think you would always have. Isn't it? What do they call it? The midnight sun, land of the midnight sun. I mean, like
that's what
you could have solar.
That's what I was just getting to. So they might have the two things that you really want
and cold temperature.
So you at least half the year you have almost unlimited sun, right?
Well, I think just the other night was the first of 84 straight days.
Yes.
With
in Alaska.
around the clock. What is
the sun
town?
won't
It used
set.
to be Barrow, Alaska.
Yeah.
They changed the name of it, but I think the other day was the first of 84 straight days.
You're right. I saw
with around the clock sunshine.
And I think that exasperates as you get further north. So
they have like it's like a holiday. The last sunset.
It is. And then you either have darkness for 84 days or you have lightness or unlimited, So if that's the case, why wouldn't we have data centers on both poles and we're flipping the switch on one when it's on and one in the other when it's off?
I don't know.
Hey,
here's a question.
Wait, we're working on that. Don't tell anybody about that.
Oh, you got that deal cooking?
Yeah. You didn't see my email today? I sent you an email today.
I have been buried in my...
Oh, okay. Perry, you must not have seen your email. I had this revelation this morning that there's got to be some place in the poles where the climate is perfect, that you have the energy from the sun and it's so far from the equator that it's still cold.
Yeah.
So I'm joking, obviously, but
that'd have been ironic.
Now that we're talking about
it, almost been as synced up as you and Perry both wanted to bring the chicken cock together last week.
Well, you know where our minds were,
right?
So here's a question, and I'm asking because I legitimately don't know who owns the North Pole and Antarctica.
I'm sure there's some pact, or I don't know. We'll have to look that up. Maybe AI. Maybe you should ask Siri.
I'm going to do a little research while you guys talk.
Yeah. Why don't we do a little research on break? We'll come back. We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
We might be on something.
Yeah. Who has the rights? And
I mean, the hell with Greenland.
Yeah.
Or Iceland or whatever Trump wanted Greenland. Let's go for the pole.
Let's go further north. If we can go to space at 200 degrees below, my goodness, it's balmy down in the tropics in Antarctica.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And the Arctic Circle.
Big universe.
It is a big universe.
But there's a lot of unused land. I mean, it's
a lot of unused
land. Penguins. That'll be the next thing.
Uninhabitable land, by the way.
It is.
And then it begs the next question: are we able to drill for gas down there? Yeah.
Well, it provokes the answer. Why not?
Well, we can do it. We can definitely do deep well,
maybe offshore,
where it's a little easier to accessible. I mean, I'm sure they can go through ice as they can go through rock, but all these questions, and no answers.
We need to come back.
We're going to have to come from back.
We're going to get the answers for.
We are looking them up. Yeah,
deserves answers.
They deserve to know.
You want the truth?
Yeah, that's right.
You can't handle it.
I don't know if we can handle the truth.
Well, now and then you're gonna also talk, and a couple of this we're gonna get back to the
yes. Let me bring everybody back into focus because we are easily distracted. That's my.
It just happened again.
You put a bourbon in front of me, and all of a sudden it just goes haywire, right? But we were talking about Claude last week and getting into some of its great strengths, very few weaknesses. I do want to wrap that up a little bit and give it its due course, especially with some of the developments that came out with its vision capabilities this week that I saw firsthand in my development of my platform. And then I'm going to roll into Copilot and we're going to get started on that. Another fond, platform that I've been using. It very much so has its strengths, also has its weaknesses, but we're going to start talking about.
I look forward every week that I come to this. I look forward to learning more from you and
Me too.
the Copilot. I'm anticipating learning about that and having you wrap up Claude as we go forward.
Awesome. We'll be right back after this.
Cheers.
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 If you advise clients on AI, data, privacy, or cybersecurity, you cannot afford to miss a development. And right now, developments are happening ever so quickly. Docket Daily tracks every AI, data, privacy, and cybersecurity legal development across all 50 states and the federal government, and delivers to you every morning an updated, curated, attorney-reviewed digest. Proposed bills, enacted laws, regulations, court opinions, executive orders, every jurisdiction, every day, as well as the news headlines. Docket Daily launches May 20th, 2026. First 100 pre-subscribers get 50% off. Stop guessing what you missed. Start your subscription today.
And we're back from our bourbon
You're
break.
back.
It really wasn't a bourbon break. We did partake a little bit more, but we also did what we're talking about, and that is we asked some questions to AI. Some of those poignant questions we were asking as we went to break here. Who owns Antarctica? And
You missed one letter there,
and the
buddy.
Arctic.
And the Arctic. Yes, we did.
So Perry, tell us what you found
So
out.
here's what I found with a very quick search using Google. That would be Gemini.
Gemini. We'll be getting to Gemini.
And that's just because Chrome is my browser of choice.
Yeah, and that's what they hope for.
Yeah.
I'm a Libra.
The answer to the question, who owns Antarctica, is no single country owns Antarctica.
Oh, it sounds like it's up
Instead,
for the grabs. The
it's-
Wild Wild West.
It's kind of is. There's a lot of people that lay claim to it.
Yeah.
And so it's governed by an international preserve, primarily managed through the Antarctic Treaty System, signed in 1959.
I'm sure that's going to hold.
Yeah, well, it has so far.
You know, it's a peaceful system too, right? That's what the
The continent is dedicated to peace, scientific
Yeah.
research, environmental protection, and no military activity or commercial resource mining allowed.
So why would we do that other than if there's a huge oil or gas reserve
Well,
and we can put data centers
so-
there?
What do you think Kelshi would say about whether there's a huge reserve there? I got to believe a Kelshi bet on how much gas is there. It's got to be 100% positive that there's
Yeah, and I was looking that up,
massive
and,
reserve
and the
there.
reserves are massive because they really haven't been tapped, and they're there. But obviously the weather conditions and the extreme weather conditions make it very difficult. So if you're looking at how they're doing the deep ocean mining, offshore in Texas, down in California, all around the shores, right? That would make the most sense down there. And there, Russia and China, believe it or not, are actually exploring that. And Arctic gets a little bit more interesting, right? So
Yeah, so it's sort of similar, except they have. Let me grab that. They have. It's governed by all the countries that border it. So it's Norway. Let's see, Canada, Denmark, Finland, Denmark via Greenland. Finland, Iceland, Norway, Russia, Sweden, and the United States, which control the land and a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone along their coasts. So I'm guessing.
it seems like it's ripe for the taking.
Well, I mean, there's, it's kind of one of those things where everybody wants to claim that they have a stake in it, and they all dispute that anybody else who's also making a claim that they have a stake in it has a stake in it. So it's kind of like
Is that kind of like, remember when you could buy like that 1 acre of land on the moon? back in the day.
No, but I wish I could do that now.
There was some ad that was going around back
really?
in the 1980s or 1990s. You would get this official plaque because, nobody's going to the moon. So we're selling the rights to you. You own this acre on the moon.
Yeah, right.
Or whatever it was. I don't know. But
it's interesting.
Anyway, they own 100,000 acres on the moon. And eventually someday it's going to be worth something.
Beachfront.
A nice golf course on that spot.
Is it beachfront?
Right?
It is. It's got a great view of Earth.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. It's kind of interesting. That was not something I thought I was going to learn tonight.
No, I didn't either. But it's funny how our
question that came up, because it's like, who does own it?
But this is as you kind of brainstorm and you think about how things are progressing, and we're talking about space, and we're pushing those outer layers literally.
We're not even to minimum lubricity.
No, we are just sipping
Barely.
on our initial whispers. I call it.
Yeah,
the
we're in a warm up phase.
Didn't I screw that up a couple of weeks
You
ago?
did. We had to cut that out. We can talk about it now, though.
Whispers.
Yeah,
or
what
Whispers
was
from kittens.
supposed to be whiskers.
Yeah, what was that song?
It was it Mac the Knife?
I don't recall what it was, but I.
We were
totally
talking
screwed
about
it up.
these old crooners.
Yeah, the crooner songs. Yeah, and you thought
No, it was whiskers on kittens, and I said whispers on kittens.
Yes, that's it.
and I chimed in and said, yeah, you're the pussy whisperer.
Well, it's a rough crowd to make a faux pas. Trust me, folks. I know none of you guys can see this crowd in the background here, but you don't want to make a faux pas with this group.
No,
you just get buried, and you got to have some thick skin to deal with this.
Yeah,
But we're all good.
we took care of you.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's just like having a sibling,
Yeah.
You could, like my brother and I, you could beat the shit out of each other, but if somebody else does it, you're like, oh, you're going down.
Oh, that's
pal.
it. Yeah, that's it.
So
Did he say something to you?
we all pick on each other.
Yeah.
But if
in the
somebody
meantime,
else
I'm gonna rip you up and down left
tear
and
you
right. But it's with love. It's with love.
I told you, Lou, if Brad stopped picking at me or teasing me about something, I'd feel like I did something wrong,
Hey,
that's
you
not
guys
gonna ever
say-
including the
I don't-
stilettos.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if the viewers know that we're all from a small town here.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Perry. If somebody wasn't busting my stones, I would feel like, wow, I've been banished from.
You'd think you pissed
from
them
the
off.
community. Yeah.
But that's our.
So
but that's
we're
also
so
that's kind of
blessed.
our group that we hang out with too.
Oh, no doubt. We're
We-
blessed to have 30, 40 guys.
It's unique. We travel the country and everybody says we have a pretty unique thing.
We do.
It's
we
like
have a
the
pretty
Rat
cool-
Pack
yeah.
of Indiana almost. It's
Well, we don't want to
you know-
say rats in today's world.
Well, but
well, but
It's
it's
the
kind of
hantavirus thing.
it's true. That's that cruise ship,
Yeah,
man. That was a nightmare story.
Yeah.
Holy,
I
holy,
digress.
yeah.
But
No,
we've talked about and on the show repeatedly about the younger generations not going out and not drinking things. So they'll never develop that.
No.
They may develop it maybe later on work, but I mean, these are, I mean, you guys are newer friends to me, but in my overall lifespan, but I have friends, John Mock being one, who I've known since high school.
yeah.
And I have other friends that I'm still friends with. Brad Lucart, obviously my brother, Greg Fleming. I mean, the list goes on and on.
All guys I've gotten to meet through you
Yeah.
guys.
Sure.
And they're great guys.
Sure,
And we
we're
could not
blessed.
talk for 2 years, and then we could run into each other. It's like, hey, what's up?
No, it's just
Big
like-
hug. And they just like you never.
That's the greatest thing about that, right? You're Greg Pellis. Every
Yeah.
time you bump
Yeah,
into him, it's
Greg
like
Pellis,
you haven't
same
met him, or you haven't been away from him as long
Yeah.
as it has been, right? So
Yeah.
it's awesome, and it's a special thing that we have here in
I
Indiana.
wouldn't trade that for anything.
I wouldn't either, and it's a little hidden gem. Not to put a little plug in our city, but it's a special little town.
So if I go to Antarctica, I want you guys to come with me.
Okay.
And maybe 6 or 7 others. Because we get up to, we're good with a group of 8 to 10.
Yep.
You get us 15 to 20.
Yeah.
And
Something bad might happen.
yeah, something bad's probably going to happen.
You have to get those ceiling tiles that are specially made for us.
You've made it when the country club to which you're a
Yes.
member installs new ceiling
Yeah.
tiles to reduce the noise coming from the bar.
I guess,
Pretty-
and thank goodness Adobe Premiere does that for us here on the podcast.
That's
but
right.
My laugh does carry. And I've always been blaming it on the ceiling tiles. I got to be honest. It was always the ceiling tiles. It was not me.
Oh, you're full of shit.
Brad, I got to ask you, have you ever traveled anywhere and somebody says, hey, I recognize that laugh.
I had that this week, Lou.
Really?
I got invited down on a clay shoot about an hour and a half from here. Not too far,
Oh, yeah,
but,
this is awesome.
But it's, it was something that I've only done once before, and I thought, oh, this would be something different, right? And the first time I did it, I had this beginner's luck. I think I shot 18 out of 25 clays, which is the guy was telling me I was doing it kind of unorthodox, and I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to shoot it. Maybe it's from my duck hunting days on the Nintendo, but it worked out that time. Well, let me tell you, this time I was not that good.
Understood.
I was just lucky to get a few, and plus I got to get my eyes checked. But I'm going to blame it on that. But they had a little bit of a breakfast to start the day, and we were doing the morning session, and it was 8 a.m. And I had this gentleman come up to me, and he goes, and I was having a conversation, and I laughed. He goes, I know that laugh.
Really?
I listen to your podcast every week.
No way.
And I said, oh, that's awesome. He goes, he introduced himself, and we got to talk a little bit, and it's cool that we're making that reach into folks' lives. I not only do I hear that now as we're stepping outside the city, but especially in the city, there's a lot of loyal listeners here in Indiana, PA that we love. You can list all the different names and the folks that send me articles or hit me up online.
I get that a lot.
And Perry, I know you get that. I think Lou, you're probably starting to get it too. So it's just cool to see. And and on another note, I mean, we're still holding pretty strong in the Apple rankings. It's cool to see, and we're not, we're just doing the normal promotionary stuff with our loyal listeners, and they are loyal. Like I said, I've had to build that listener base twice through completely offensively because I was too offensive.
Imagine that.
Yeah. My dark humor.
Nobody saw that coming, did you?
My dark humor took me down one time with 250,000 followers on Facebook because I kept getting warning. We're shutting down your account, and there it goes. It was gone. And you have no way of reaching out to all these listeners that were, or I don't call them listeners, but they were followers.
Sure.
And so my meme humor just went away. So I rebuilt it back up to, we're up to like 230 some thousand followers at, when we peaked at 250,000, and then of course they shadow ban you all. And if you're on the social media, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not even gonna get into that, but these people are loyal, and a lot of them have gotten back into my messaging boards that I know who this is. I know you were completely offensive. And I said, yes, that's me. I do own the domain name completellyoffensive.com. I own funnymemes.com. It's not meant to be offensive. It's just dark humor where we can all laugh at each other. And that's kind of where I go back to the Rat Pack. That's because what they all used to do is rip on each other.
Sure.
It's like, when you're hanging out, that's brotherly love,
No doubt. I've in my couple of weeks being fortunate to be a guest on your show, I've learned that in my daily life away from this microphone, there are like 99.99% of the people have no clue what's going on. So I think I don't want to say you're doing a public service by enlightening people as to AI and what's going on in the world. The fact that we were talking about different places that you could put AI, there's got to be some people saying, how does anybody even think of that? So I think we're opening, and
it's perfect lubricity.
It might be optimum lubricity, but I think your information, the more people that listen and I don't want to say get educated, but just enlightened about what's going on in this whole AI world. I think it's going to be so much better for everybody on the planet. Why fight it? Go with it, learn it, be part of it.
Well, and as fast as it's growing, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon, and it may take a hard stop and pivot, but I don't see that. And if it does happen, then we're all going to have to adjust. But at the rate it's going, we're going to have to figure out. I mean, communities don't want to be overwhelmed with data centers. I mean, there's no doubt there's definitely some ripe spots throughout our nation and throughout the world that make a lot of sense, including Homer City, because that was a power plant before. This is a cleaner version. There's a lot of that going on, and give credit where credit's due. The big tech companies, and I'm one of the most critical of them, are doing their best to deal with the demand and the ecological responsibility that they feel, and they're holding strong to it. And kudos to them. I really think it's well deserved of credit. And now that they're exploring extra, I mean, literally going up into space. Now that they're exploring possibly going under the ocean. Now that we they're probably already looking at. We kind of tripped across the poles talking over our bourbon, but clearly the engineers are looking at every source, right?
Sure.
So that's their job. And it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out every day. I mean, to the point where we have to go to Monday through Friday. And I know we haven't really formally announced that to our listeners, but we are Monday through Friday. You can check us out in between. We thought it was going to be 5 or 10 minutes of the headlines. It's turning into 25 minutes to 30 minutes every day. So I'm hoping that they're going to slow down a little bit.
No, they're not going to slow down. The guys that do this stuff don't slow down. These are 24/7 thinkers. And yeah, I wear sleep apnea, right? Because I'm hoping to get 3-4 hours sleep. I don't think these guys sleep. I think they are. It's amazing to me how you see the big thinkers on a world stage. Yeah. And you're like, did that guy ever go to bed? Or did that woman ever go to bed?
No,
they're just, it is a 24/7 mindset. And as much as we may vilify them at times for their perceived greed, they're making this place better over the course of a long period of time. Short-term pain for long-term gain is 100%.
And let's hope that remains that way, right? So the super intelligence, fears that we have in ours, is it going to be properly governed? Is it going to be properly regulated? Are the guardrails going to be set up so the bad actors, so the agents, the super intelligence itself can't come to harm us? We always have to try to keep it in control. And so that has to be the ultimate goal, and not let greed or the race to being the winner in this AI war tell the story. So
it seems to me that there's in terms of being a winner, maybe first but if you're talking about winner in terms of money, there's so much money that none of these people are going to be losers. It's just a matter of what level of win you have at this point. And I think in 20 years, 30 years from now, if I'm still fortunate to be on this planet, I'm going to look back and say, wow, that was amazing. Yeah. We were at the beginning of this AI.
We were at the very beginning.
And I don't mean we, just the three of us here, 5 of us
we
in
as
our
a
audience
society.
tonight. Yep. I'm talking about we as society.
Yep.
In the timeline,
Yeah, this is our decade of development that will change the next century.
For sure.
At least the next century of how mankind exists on this planet.
We talked about this in our news segment.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about, we compared it to the advent of the cell phone.
We talked about that.
The advent of the personal computer. And we've lived through all that.
We've lived through all that. So
the internet, the advent of the internet.
And as you lived through those times, we thought those were going to be the once in a lifetime times that we were living through. Did you ever see a mobile phone that you could just tie into that actually wasn't just that flip, bag phone that you had, or that big, big phone with the big plastic antenna? It became this mobile device that taps you into every informational source you could possibly ever want. That was one. The personal computer was another, right? The internet was another, major
digital music.
And then
Napster.
Napster, and
wait till they see the lid on our bottle of bourbon.
Oh, our bottle! Yeah, it's hot, man. That's going to be a. That's going
to be a. I'm going to predict it. I'm going to predict it now. That's going to be a good selling bourbon right there.
Well, and of course, we're not going to sell anything that isn't good, at least in our palates. And by the way, we also talked. We are going to have a special episode coming up where all 3 of us are going to have blind tests.
I think we should have probably Eric. Maybe Jay.
No, I think we should have a few.
Pribish.
Yeah,
we should probably have some other experts on.
Yeah, we'll bring the full bar and we'll stack the bar up and we'll go around. We're going to do a blind test.
Yeah,
a blind tasting test to see some of the, our favorite bourbons, maybe some of the most popular bourbons.
That might be a nice night to create our lubricity, our formal and official lubricity scale, because the people that we're going to have,
create itself.
I think, yes, Perry, you're right.
Especially if Cardi's here.
Yeah, no doubt. If we see anybody drop off to Asshole-ville, we'll have to deal with that accordingly, right?
We'll have to make sure we get that on video. This is Asshole-ville.
Yeah, there we go.
This is a place that you don't want to visit. So,
well, the good news is we are an explicit podcast, even if we're coming to you at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Sure.
But, we are.
Well, this won't be.
Yeah,
it will be. Yeah.
Well,
that's true.
Yeah.
It's nighttime when we filmed it, so we can say whatever the fuck we want.
Well, that's why we say it, and of all the tech.
Sorry, Mom.
I was scrolling through. Yeah. Sorry, Mrs. Muir. Just celebrating a birthday.
Brad made me do it.
I've already had to apologize 3 times to my sisters.
Yeah, right. Sorry about all the chicken cock references last week.
I put that 1 minute reel together. It was a challenge to find a minute's worth of footage that wasn't like us making some wisecrack.
Right.
It was hilarious.
But let's move on. We've talked about some of the questions we had about Antarctica, whether it's possible. It's definitely possible to tap into the reserves. Obviously, it makes sense, given what electricity prices are going up to. So the cost is worthy, even if you have to go to extra measures to be able to protect yourselves from the extreme weather down there. So I would think that's on the, if we're going to space, I think Antarctica and Arctic are probably on the.
It's a much shorter trip.
Yeah, they're probably on the
less expensive to get there too.
On the roadmap of possibilities, right? So with that being said, we'll watch and we'll listen.
It will be interesting to see.
And we'll report when we see anything kind of coming that way. So moving on, we've talked about the Penelope a little bit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we're good on that.
Yeah,
it's good. It's
we talked about the founder. We talked about his daughter. This is one of their staples. It's kind of their go-to if you're looking to mix it with a mixer, or you just want that stable. I've been drinking on it, and it's very smooth.
It's very easy to drink.
It's
a lighter.
It's a soft one for me. This is as the lightweight here. This is an 80, I believe.
Yep, it is.
And I'm going to tell you, it's pretty smooth. Our friend who has a restaurant makes this butter cake, and I'm thinking, wow, this would be perfect after dinner bourbon.
Just pair with it, right?
Yeah, pair it up with a nice little snifter and the butter cake at Benjamin's restaurant, and it would be a pretty cool nightcap.
Well, I had a whisper last night when I was working into the late hours of just kind of finishing things up, and I told Perry that on the airwaves this morning. This would have been a good whisper. It's a good little whisper. It has a good taste to it.
Are you guys getting any vanilla out of this? I know a lot of it. I mentioned to you guys I'm getting a lot of cinnamon because that was my first experience, and now I go into things expecting cinnamon.
I think the vanilla flavor, the taste that I get, I think is what makes it taste so smooth. It's easy to drink.
Very easy to drink.
Yeah, it's good. I don't pick up a lot of the oakiness like like Greg Pribish's. That's his thing.
It is his thing. And he likes that. Greg is like an oak tree. He can
double oaked.
Yeah, he likes he likes it sharp, and he likes it poignant.
And I can drink that too, but I don't think he would enjoy this variety.
And he likes only have to make one bunk bed at camp once a week. So he piles us all into that one. It's like the Boy Scouts all over again.
It is.
That's that
shout out Bernie.
Of 30 or 40 we have the travel, right?
Yeah. Anyway, it is good. It's very good. It's not.
I agree.
I mean, when I was reading a little bit about it today before I tried it, because I'd never had it before today, I was a little surprised by the lukewarm reviews of it, but it suits me perfect.
Me as
easy
well.
drinker.
And I think, and it's cost effective as well.
Yeah, that's a matter of fact, I may add that to my rotation. I usually kind of keep Buffalo Trace in my decanter, but I had served this to anybody that came over.
No, it's a good bourbon, and like you said, Lou, it's a handsome looking sleek bottle. It was
their whole line is the Penelope.
And the Penelope line does, and I usually have it, right there in the center of the lineup.
There's one back there.
That was
blue bottle.
Yeah, and this one was right next to it until we brought it out. So
it's good.
Yeah,
they're very good at the marketing too. I'll give them props.
No, they are.
They make some good stuff. There's a couple other ones I'd like to try. One is aged in rosé cask that I saw.
That sounds good.
I think that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Rosé all day.
Yeah. So anyway,
rosé. I thought that was the Rosin all day.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Rosé at the Rosin.
That's easy to do at the Rosin.
At the Rosin.
It is
on Steeler Sunday.
Sure.
You're in Steeler time. There's Steeler country here, so the Rosin on Sundays and during football season.
It's a
pretty good gig.
It's also pretty good at happy hour on Fridays, and happy hour starts, in my opinion, about 12:30. Not at night.
Happy hour starts when you reach minimum lubricity is when happy hour starts.
It's easy to do. The staff out at the Rosin is just some of the best. Their service is great. The food is awesome. The drinks are awesome. Just the atmosphere.
No doubt.
It's one of our staples here in Indiana County.
Sure.
Yeah. So we are going to get into Claude. I want to wrap up a little bit about Claude here before we get into Copilot. And Claude, they had a big breakthrough this last week, and that being especially in their agent side, not necessarily on the Claude side, but it did enhance Claude's capabilities too, and that is on the image side. And what that means, you can just not just a chat box anymore. You can upload an image, you can upload a PDF. Sometimes you can even upload, depending on the platform, a video for them to look. When I say them, I mean the agents, the back the back inner workings of the computer systems that are the GPU systems that are there that are analyzing this stuff to give you the feedback that you're seeing be produced. So Claude had a big upgrade on the voice, or I keep saying voice, but the image side, and I've seen it on the agentic side because now it can actually go in and look at your work and then give you feedback instead of you having to try to talk to it and give it the exact diagnosis or the exact description of what you want. It can find it itself and figure out the problem a lot quicker. So again, that review time goes down. But as far as Claude goes, it's again, I'm going to leave it with this. It's very weak on imaging and videos because it doesn't do that. So it's very simple on that. I know we were silly with the chicken cock last week. This week, thank goodness none of us have a cock in our mouth yet, but it's only the second segment, and we still do have a little.
I did have one in my hands.
Perry did bring a bottle of
You guys just can't let
chicken
it go,
cock. So we may be diving into that in the fifth segment, but we are going to stay focused, relatively focused.
We're going to go deep with that.
We are going to stay relatively focused here. And Claude, again, and when you ask and I love asking the different platforms their take on this and seeing what they say. And Gemini, like I said, even unsolicited when I'm doing this stuff, I think it would go good with the Bourbonometer. So it's amazing how quickly these platforms learn you. I mean, and when I say learn you, I mean that's their sell. We're going to adapt to you and be kind of your personal assistant. And so Claude, I've seen that firsthand happen. It has been my personal assistant. It knows when I'm ringing off on a Wednesday or Thursday evening, I'm going to shoot the air. It goes, good luck with the podcast tonight filming. And that's not even me telling it. It just knows that.
So does that scare you in any way? And I don't mean legally. I mean just on a human level.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit getting used to, right? So it's a little bit of a shock the first time you hear it. And I think I even sent you the quote from Gemini the other day, Perry.
About what it said to you?
Yeah, when I was asking it in the context of one of the laws that I was reviewing on Docket Daily.
No, I don't think you sent that to me.
So I copied it. Well, Gemini it came out and said, Brett, this works perfectly. This is what is going on. And by the way, this works perfectly in your 16-layer operational stack. And
that's crazy.
And it goes, and it's something you obviously we're going to discuss over when the Bourbonometer is going down.
No, you didn't send me that. That's cool. That's amazing. Yeah. Actually, it's a little scary.
And that's Gemini. And that's not one of, and nothing against Gemini, but of course, and
that's not one you use a ton.
But it's built into everything we use, right? So it's built into our operating systems. Mm-hmm. Microsoft. I mean, who doesn't, or not Microsoft, Google, I'm sorry. And I'm sure the Microsoft people and Google people are going, What
the hell?
Fuck.
Yeah. I need to mix us up.
Yeah. No, but when you talk about Google, I mean, we're always using, Google's always in the background. If you're using the browser, that's always right there. It's all enabled now. But I am using Gemini. I do have the Pro plan, and I like it. I've said the imaging on it, and I'm not trying to pitch Gemini right now, but to have it say that to me when I'm not really giving it stuff about my podcast nor my book, it means it's doing its research somewhere behind the scene, right?
I'm waiting to show up at the golf course and have one of these Gemini or Claude or anybody pop up and say, hey, have a nice round today.
Yeah.
Because they've figured out from my post or anything I do, I'm headed to the first tee. But yeah. I do want to hear about your docket program and where that is right now. You and I haven't talked in a couple days.
We haven't talked in a couple days, and it's come a long way. But when we come back, as I bump mics,
that's going to sound good.
It is going to sound good.
It's going to be pretty loud.
Because boink. Boink. I like to hear the glass or the ice.
The clink of the glass.
Yes.
I've heard that from so many people. Yeah. I said it's the hardest when I'm going to work at like 8:30 in the morning and I got to hear that and going, I could really use a bourbon right now. I know the feeling. We'll be right back after this. We're going to continue to talk about, wrap it up on Claude. Claude is awesome, but we're going to get into Copilot, which is also awesome for its own reasons.
On the list, right?
Yeah, it is the next on the list. We'll be right back. Cheers.
If you advise clients on AI, data, privacy, or cybersecurity, you cannot afford to miss a development. And right now, developments are happening ever so quickly. Docket Daily tracks every AI, data, privacy, and cybersecurity legal development across all 50 states and the federal government, and delivers to you every morning an updated, curated, attorney-reviewed digest. Proposed bills, enacted laws, regulations, court opinions, executive orders, every jurisdiction, every day, as well as the news headlines. Docket Daily launches May 20th, 2026. First 100 pre-subscribers get 50% off. Stop guessing what you missed. Start your subscription today.
We are back, and you are looking dapper. I mean, look at that.
Really? I was just asking Perry if I looked okay in my vest tonight.
The pinstripes. I mean, it's a never-ending.
Based on
It never goes out of style.
based on the conversation we just had, I think you should wear a bow tie.
No, I'm going to tell you, there's very few people that I trust that wear bow ties.
Yeah, why is that, right?
I don't know what it is.
Actually, you'd look like a waiter if you had a bow tie. You're not a waiter.
You know, my theory is in the book.
You're the restaurant owner. You're the restaurateur. You're not the waiter.
No, you know what I should be in a restaurant? I should be the maitre d'. That when you
should.
come to the front door, I'm going to say, how you doing?
Actually, Brad
Want
has
a
you.
table?
Brad has you ticketed for that for over here.
Oh, I know. I mean,
ICC.
you're the perfect. You are. You've had the
Perfect
Hawk's
maitre d'.
Nest. You've had the. We've done the Thursday nights at the club together. We've done the horse races. You brought that in. You brought the hole-in-one club. You are.
I'm America's host.
You are America's host.
What was that? What was that hotel? The Holiday Inn?
America's host.
Oh,
yeah.
America's host. No, I have fun making people have fun.
No, you do, and you're very
so-
good at it.
You're natural.
No, you are natural, and that's a hard quality.
Au
to have.
naturel.
That's tough to find,
Natural.
especially today.
That's not Italian.
Yeah.
For a guy of Louis' young age of
Yeah.
37 to have this kind of charisma,
hey.
it's indicative of somebody who's far older.
It's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lost art.
If this hair gets any whiter, there's not going to be any more au naturel with this boy.
The fact that you have that hairline, man, that's beautiful. You know, men pay big bucks for that.
I don't see very many bald Italians. It must be a thing.
I think it's the olive oil. You know,
Dude,
Help me.
I mean, most Italian men seem to have
I read olive oil
healthy
has,
heads of hair.
Well, and if you look at the longevity, Italians tend to live, at least over in Italy, you know, they tend to live longer because,
No, they eat better.
Good life over there.
well, they do. They eat a very clean Mediterranean diet, and olive oil has a lot of great medicinal.
A lot of
qualities.
fish.
Sure does.
A lot of fish, a lot
Yeah.
of fruits.
Yeah, and,
No,
and everything. And olive oil is the basis of all that cooking,
yeah.
right? So
No
all that
doubt,
good
for
stuff.
65 years, I've been blessed to have this much hair left. But I will say it's not from my Italian heritage. It's from my Slovak heritage. My mother's, my two uncles, both of them had nice, thick heads of hair into their 70s. And they were tall as well.
Oh boy, you got it all. Going.
Yeah, like things worked out okay. Getting a little bit old, but things worked out okay for a long time.
It's a
so.
blessing to be able to make it to that next year,
Yeah,
right?
no
So
doubt, no doubt.
You get to experience the next thing that happens.
Yeah,
you know?
Medicare.
You're right. Hey, that is a blessing. I'm counting down my days. Like, can I get early admission, please? But we're moving on to some of the platforms. We talked about Claude. Wonderful for reasoning. You want to do some deep research. You want analytical research, financial, insurance, anything in the regulatory environment, legal. I mean, they are a great source to start with. Just wonderful. And the Claude free version is awesome. It's gonna put the throttle on you after you hammer it a few times, but then you can upgrade to the $20 version, or you can even move on to the $60 version. And if you're bold enough and you want it to tell you to go to sleep, you get the $200 version. And so, you know, there are those out there. But now we are moving on to Copilot, and Copilot is a whole different animal. It's my first love in the AI world. I fell in love with Copilot early on, much because Microsoft, again, has you, right? I mean, that's why they're one of the most powerful companies in the world and have been a staple company for all these years. I think they have somewhere upwards of, I want to say 400 million users.
400 million.
Well, it doesn't hurt that they're on
Wow.
pretty much every PC in the country.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When you said this, I I was thinking, why do I know that? It's because that's what's on my PC. And
Exactly.
how many people don't know that when they type something in, they're probably getting Copilot and they don't even know it.
And then we talk about how these platforms are learning you. And yes, I was right as I scroll down. They do have over 400 million plus paid seats.
Whoa.
So
That's
people
9
who are
digits
actually
that starts
paying
with a 4?
It's a big number. If you think
paying
about,
to use it. So
well,
like,
if you think about the enterprise level, right? I mean, who doesn't have Microsoft Word
true.
spreadsheet?
Oh, okay. So that would count.
That's Microsoft 365, and now
Yeah.
they have embedded Copilot, which makes a lot of sense, right?
So that's considered a paying seat.
It is.
Okay. Well, I have it then.
Then you have it.
Yeah.
I have it. I'm guessing you probably
I have it.
Yeah. So,
Sure.
I mean, there's probably not too many people out there that don't have it. And again, it gets back to my governance side. When you're dealing with this stuff, you have to realize that they have, whether you have Copilot independently standing on your phone or computer, you probably have it anyways. It's embedded into your documents, your spreadsheets, your PowerPoints, all that stuff. And it's getting more enhanced as the days go by. And Microsoft is in this position, just as their CTO, that was Google, or who was the one that I was worried they were going to IBM? Was it? I think it was Google, right?
I thought it was Google.
Yeah, it was. It was. The
They didn't
CEO
want
of
to
New-
be. They didn't want to become.
didn't want to become the next IBM, and I'm
Right.
thinking, even though they didn't say it explicitly on the OpenAI Musk trial stand today, as their CTO testified, I'm thinking there's got to be that same thought process going through Microsoft's channels. You know, we're not an AI first company. We are a workflow company. We provide all the sources, whether it's your spreadsheets back in the day when spreadsheets were popular. Now you can spit it out of AI in a quick moment notice, and Claude integrates through just about every spreadsheet now. I mean, there's these APIs are talking with each other, right, Per?
Oh yeah, that's.
And Perry's a
It's all
spreadsheet kind of guy. He likes to lay out, who's charging him, a different price for this and that,
Can I tell you, I'm a
like
spreadsheet guy. In fact,
too.
some of
Love
my team and my coding team is like, Lou, you sent us this document, but it looks like you did it on an Excel spreadsheet and then cut and paste.
And you're like, I did.
I did. That's
exactly what I did.
Exactly what I did. 'Cause the boxes are nice and neat.
They're very
and
linear. They're very organized,
they're
right?
structured. And
Spreadsheets were the first thing that satisfied this OCD
Oh, dude.
theism, right? I mean, we all got. I got a little bit of theism in me. I know I do.
I know.
Yeah.
So like when I'm doing like a price quote or a bid.
There's Gus. Yeah, that bourbon hit him in the wrong spot.
that was none of us. That was Gus.
That was our bourbon dog. That wasn't a cat. That wasn't a cat hairball either. That was just Gus.
He doesn't even miss a beat. He's not even looking. He's just
He's
like,
not
yeah,
looking.
whatever.
That was just a
You guys can
rollover in
piss
his
off.
nap. Yeah.
Anyway, so if I'm doing like a bid, oftentimes our customers will ask for a variety of different products, different page counts, maybe different papers, whatever. So you'll have a list of products. Well, my OCD does kick in. So I have two options. I can either set up the custom tabs in Word, which is, I still, after all these years, struggle with those stupid tabs. And it's like, why isn't it on the next line too?
Right, right.
Or I could do it in Excel where I can take that column and right justify it, this column, left justify it,
And
pick
move
a
it,
column in between with some colons in if I
Right.
want, or a hyphen,
Right.
space it out, whatever I want to do. And it's like, I'm done.
It is.
I'm done. And
it's
I can
an
have it.
age-related thing, my brother.
It is. And I
Well-
can have it add them up whenever I'm done if I want to see
yes.
what the total is.
Have you tried asking AI to do that for you?
I have not. I'm
would-
guilty as charged.
Well, I would challenge, especially those that are heavily into the spreadsheet world or rely on the spreadsheet world or just like the linear version of the spreadsheet world that's so nicely and organized into little boxes, And as my walk-up song was this morning, or it wasn't this morning. It feels like it is the evening. It is dark time now. We've been filming a lot today.
Man in a box.
The man, I don't want to box me in. I am that man in that box, So, but
I missed that.
you did. It's a great song.
That is
You'd
good.
recognize it. It's a
a song?
classic. Oh, Alice in Chains.
Oh, you know that. You've heard it, I'm sure.
I don't know.
You almost got me. Yeah,
I was
I'm
gonna say,
I'm almost into the fourth level. I'm
I
ready
thought you were
to
going to
spit
start
out
singing. Let's not get that deep.
Yeah,
yet.
we're not that deep
I
yet.
want
But
to keep you guys
yeah.
intellectual before
but-
we digress into
but-
music.
But now,
Oh, no, I have
but
not
now-
tried AI in a spreadsheet.
So if you're an Excel fan, which is a Microsoft product.
But I mean that or Google
That is,
Sheets.
yeah. So it's either one or the other, right?
Yep,
so, and I'll talk about Google Sheets when we get to Gemini.
Yep, fair.
But ask Copilot to create that spreadsheet now for you, and put it in a chat format where you want it to do it. Say, I want to create a spreadsheet that shows this, that does that, whatever it is, and watch what it spits out.
I'm going to try that tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I'm not at work tomorrow. Next Monday.
Yeah,
Monday.
We'll try it.
I will try it
and report back. And Lou,
actually, I'm going to try it right now.
Well, right now, and ask it to just throw in a scenario there, Perry. While we keep talking about, Copilot, which, and again, the numbers are staggering. So when we talked about Anthropic, they were 10 to 15 million daily users. But mind you, Anthropic is a brand new company. A company that was created by one of the developers of ChatGPT from OpenAI that created ChatGPT 2 and 3. Then he left based on policy differences in vision, clearly that are still today surviving, and created this Anthropic company that's one of these $1 trillion companies in this short period of time. Lou, this is one of the most amazing stories. When he just reported at his coding conference, he says, we anticipated growth 10 times, from this period to this period. We were 80 times growth.
Really?
Yeah.
So apparently I took MS Office off of this computer.
Oh.
So I can't do it. I'm not going to reinstall it on
Perry's
this
not one of the 400 millions on
No, I have it on
the
my
Stiletto's computer.
I have like five computers. So
Yeah, they do limit your number of seats, but
Yeah, this Mac,
But do
I
try it and report back, because I think it's going to be
I will try.
really fascinating how it does do this stuff for you. And I showed you coming on to air today the brief that I developed with Claude. Copilot's very similar because it knows the workflows. So it knows your daily workflows. If you're in business and you're using Microsoft Word, it knows if you're using PowerPoint. It knows, all these things that are Microsoft products. That's its expertise.
So, Brad, I know with
and it's now known as Microsoft 365,
right,
which is the common, terminology that's being used in this.
It's cloud-based, so it's everything else is.
It is, for now. Because, as we see everybody's, the data centers being brought to the home. That's another headline this week.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
I'd like to get into that at some point. But one of the things I wanted to ask you is, as you've hit a lot on Claude over the last couple of sessions, what would be one of the main differences between Copilot and Claude in your world, or as you see it?
It's definitely different. So when I'm reviewing, for example, on Docket Daily, all these different laws, whether it's proposed legislation, whether it's new statutes, regulations, new cases, new executive orders, accuracy is paramount to that, right?
Sure.
Asking Copilot, that there was a big roadblock saying, I just don't have access to that information, or I can't do it. Gave me a lot of excuses, but let's put it that way. To the point where I just said, you know what, I felt like, I was breaking up with a girlfriend. I said, this is not working out. I'm going over to Claude. And so I use Claude. And when you ask Claude, it does a very good job of leading. You have to go through the iterations. Sometimes you have to say, no, that's not what I was looking for. This is, there can be a lot of errors in between. And that's why I developed Docket Daily, because I want to take all those errors out. And I have these 50-page thesis papers on every different law, how to get it, how to do it. We search over 2,800 sites. So we take all that legwork of doing that out of it. The Claude is a great backbone for that and I say intellectual, it's very the high complex reasoning. So if you're a finance kind of guy, I mean, you've talked stocks over the years, you've dabbled in that stuff. You've been fascinated by crypto. We were talking about that before we came on air. Claude is exactly the platform you want to use if you're asking it to analyze something financially. It's exactly the kind of thing you want to use if you want to do a multi-layer reasoning. Challenge it to come up with something for you.
Got it.
The complex stuff, Claude. Copilot, your day-to-day operations that you're doing, most likely that you were doing even just 5 years ago at the office. It can now do a lot of that stuff for you so quickly. Instead of you fighting with that spreadsheet box trying to get that word justification, you tell it what you want.
I just learned that justification, Perry. Is that when you slide it to the right? or
Yep.
to the left,
Left
in an Excel
justify,
spreadsheet?
right justify, center justify.
I did not know that. But
And I am so OCD. If the data in the box,
Kind of like how he slid us across the.
he does. Right? He says,
He justified
you
us.
gotta move 2
Yeah.
inches that way.
I had
or
to
2
center.
inches
I had to
this
center
way.
justify.
He said we
Or
were a little
justify.
off centered, you know,
That's
and usually that's only happens in the fifth segment.
So if I'm working with a spreadsheet, I will even go in and make sure it's horizontally centered
Yep.
in the box, because by default it's always at the top in a spreadsheet. So if you have a large cell that has multiple lines of text, it always starts at the top. So it top justifies everything. And there's no button. You have to actually right click and go into format cells but I'll do it because it drives me crazy if I don't have them all spaced.
Right. No, I hear you. And
It's a curse.
And this is one of the things that Copilot brings.
It
that,
does.
That it's one of the.
it knows it's
in the
Microsoft.
positive.
So whatever's in the suite of Microsoft 365, it knows it backwards, forwards. It is your Microsoft suite expert sitting at your hands. You don't have to go to customer support anymore. 90% is going to be answered by Copilot.
And it could do the same, obviously, then I'm going to guess for Word, because there's sometimes when I hit tab and I don't want it to be an indentation with another. If I go A, B, I don't necessarily need a C indentation. So Copilot can take me through that formatting, basically, because it knows my Word and my Excel propensity.
It can, and it has access to that, you know. So it is.
Yeah, I guess it would. Right?
It is. It doesn't have to guess. So it has that inherently through the suite and your terms and conditions with Microsoft 365. It has that access, which is special. And for the 400 million users out there, it's a special tool. It's an enhanced tool that you can use. It can make you more efficient. Instead of, I can remember back in my practicing days as a lawyer, trying to make the editing perfect. You know, and whether you're fighting with a PowerPoint or whether you're fighting with the justification in a Word document that just somehow got stubbornly stuck and you can't figure out where that format is and you have to go through all the different tabs to figure it out. Guess who can figure it out pretty quick?
Copilot.
Yeah. And Copilot is
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. And so if you're not using it, don't be afraid to use it. In fact, I would encourage you maybe in an off hours, non-business sense or job sense, just play around with it. And just like I challenged Perry and you to, just ask it to create the spreadsheet that you were thinking about, doing next time, or something you just did to kind of do an A/B test, side by side and see, yeah, this is pretty cool. And it's pretty accurate,
It's interesting. I've mentioned my young nephew a number of times and how he's told me just play around with this stuff. And I would tell all of our listeners out there who are in the, I'm going to call us the seniors in the 50 and up group. We say play around. You sometimes get intimidated by that. But all you have to do really is type in a thought process, and it actually helps you. I said, Nick, I don't know what questions to ask. He said, type in something. It will tell you what question to ask it.
Yeah, and it'll actually
truly spoon feed you through
it expounds on stuff that you wouldn't even think about.
Sure.
So when you're I almost call it brainstorming back and forth. You open up this conversation. And you can keep separate folders, just much like a nice, neat Microsoft, Word document. You can keep separate folders in these, chat boxes, and Copilot does the same thing. I have many of them in there.
Sure.
I've used Copilot personally to edit my books, and it's wonderful at that.
Sure.
Or if I get stuck on a sentence, and I'm like, here's what I'm thinking, but I just can't finish this. Give me 5 or 6 variations to see if that figures out my train of thought, or maybe I've been typing for 8 to 10 hours and I'm just hitting that writer's block. So it's wonderful at that. It really is strong. Microsoft has done a very good job where it's to be seen yet, and they've moved forward and they're pitching it as your AI teammate is the multi-step reasoning, and that is the agentic capabilities, and they're saying it's moving from just answering something to actually planning and executing it, and that's a major leap forward. And if that happens, I haven't seen it personally, but that's where it handles different tasks. It can do this stuff for you, just like when we're talking about Cursor, just like when we're talking about these other frontier models. I guess when you think about IBM getting left behind, and again, what's crazy in our conversation today, IBM is not, even though they're still in the world and they definitely are operating behind the scenes, they're not one of the 7 that we're talking about.
Isn't that amazing to me as a young person? IBM
Was the staple.
Everybody, I challenge young kids. They probably don't even know what IBM stands for.
They probably don't.
And to think that they're not one of the players in this game.
Wasn't
International Business Machines.
Yeah. Some of the first computers that ever,
Sure.
Texas Instruments,
No
International
doubt.
Business Machines.
It goes way back.
They go way back, right? So, and that's the big fear. So the generations that have lived through that is kind of the throwback. And if you hear that in the office talk, that's what they're talking about, is we don't become the next IBM. Well, the technology world changes so quickly, and we're seeing it happen right before our eyes in a rapid, almost Spaceballs type,
They've gone to plaid.
We've gone to plaid. We've just gone from warp speed to plaid. And the big penis looking helmet just ain't going to protect us anymore, right?
Hey, right now, more than any time in the history of our world, this world needs Mel Brooks. Right?
It does. Mel is a classic.
We are so in need of Mel Brooks. Who, in case for those of you who aren't aware, he did so many of these spoofs the politically incorrect things in life that Mel Brooks just made light.
But that gets to
common sense.
That gets back. It kind of almost comes full circle jerk here to what we were talking about, and that was
circle jerk.
It was, if we can't laugh at each other and ourselves, then we're missing out on a really cool component of life, because sense of humor really does lighten things up, and especially in serious moments, and we all have to live through those, right?
And you always talk on this show about how we don't take ourselves very seriously, and we truly don't.
We don't, and that's
Seriously.
Truthfully on air, off air, night and day, right?
Yeah, it's so true.
So,
and why would you? I mean, I know people who do.
I've always said, if we aren't laughing, we're going to cry, because the world throws you, left. I mean, it's like a Mike Tyson fight, when you're that little guy in the fight, in the boxing ring, and you're just taking left and right. And if you aren't laughing going through life that way, then you know what?
Seriously,
but one of the easiest cures is just to laugh and roll with the punches. And
I've said to people before, why do you take yourself so seriously?
Yeah.
Holy crap. It must be a miserable existence. People I know who do that,
and I hope our world can come back to realize
I do too.
That it's not serious.
Take a freaking joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
And we're just poking.
You see a lot of fallout from this Kevin Hart roast, because this person said this joke and offended that person.
It's a roast.
It's a freaking roast. Have you listened to
roast when they started back in the Dean Martin days to what they are now? I mean, even before Dean Martin, and you go back to some of the legendary masters.
And I'm guessing that much of the content is the same today that it was then.
It is.
There was no camera back then, other than the studio
or
audience,
social media.
and there was no social. If there was no phone, no camera, there was no social media.
But you look at the Don Rickles. These guys were the original, yucksters, and even Dean Martin. He actually had a really cool sense of humor, And they were always poking. Anyways, but I'm getting off to my but Copilot.
I always get us in a different place. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about Copilot, relative to, I know you spoke to the video part and the graphics of Claude. Can you speak to me about what you think about the video
aspect
and an aspect of Copilot and how that works in?
Have you tried the video aspect of Copilot at all?
I'm remiss, pal. I told you, I can't
honestly, I haven't tried it lately. When I did try it, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, it wasn't really good. It was still pretty, and again, things are changing so quickly, and I probably should have tried it before I came on air, but it's not known for its, it can do imaging. It does it okay. I've asked it to do some images for my social media campaigns on whatever I'm doing, whether it's the country club, whether it's, Bourbon with Brad.
I used it for an image the other night. I was showing you the background, just a fall leaf background.
Not bad, right?
It was pretty good.
So it's definitely come up, and it's definitely improved, and I heard that.
They are not print quality resolution, though.
It's
only low resolution. You can't, it's not 300 DPI. You can't technically print it. It's great for social media and things like that. But so there are limitations.
And that's one of the prompts I always put in anytime I do an image. Create me a high resolution.
I told it that and it still wouldn't.
Yeah, and it's stubborn, right? So
I use Photoshop.
Issue a technology issue
It is.
or a creativity issue within their
no, it's a technology.
Does that mean they don't have the right NVIDIA chips or whatever?
I honestly think it's because they don't want, because you could create your own company selling high res images that you could. I think that's why.
And video has. So, by the way, when you're creating these high resolution images and when you're creating these videos, whether you talk about, Perry, when we talked about creating that movie, right? And there are these platforms out there now.
Someday I still want to do that.
That's going to be a great experiment, right? Let's create this,
even if it's just a short film.
Yeah, this digital, and we have a storyline I think that would go great. It might be time. If we wait too much longer, it might be outdated.
Yeah, it might be.
But
you're right.
But those are out there, but they are also intensive on the GPUs.
Okay.
So if you're Microsoft and you're trying to allocate how we have to decide from a business decision, how are we going to allocate the GPUs that we have access? And we know that's the bottleneck out there right now because power, this massive build out for GPUs. Are we going to spend it on image and video when our backbone and what got us to 400 million users is workflow and data? Probably not.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And I completely get it. Whoever made that decision there is obviously right on spot, but so when you ask, is it really good with that? It can do it. Unlike Claude that just says, I can tell you what you want to put in there. I'm not going to create it for you because Claude is saying the same thing. That's not where my strengths lie. Mm-hmm. And where we're going to concentrate our GPUs on is in the reasoning. So Microsoft Copilot, same thing. We're going to get into Gemini, and I think that's one of the more strong. ChatGPT with the new Image 2.0. Okay. Again, really strong on the imaging.
Sure. Hey, at some point before we're done tonight, I'd like to talk to you about what I read today about the University of Michigan.
Oh, yes.
Did you hear that?
That's a headline that did not make the morning headlines, but my goodness.
I'm not sure how we missed that one.
Do we have time in this segment? Or
no, we're getting a little short on this one.
Oh, well,
we're like 2-3 minutes to go.
All right. Well, we have 2-3 minutes. Yeah.
This will take 30 seconds to tell you.
Sorry.
This is what Louis says right after he took an ED pill.
You're not going to believe this. Watch this.
Yeah.
Together we rise
and finish.
Right. No, I read today that a number of years ago, the University of Michigan.
I know it's the bourbanometer. The bourbanometer, the bubbleometer.
The bubbleometer. No, the University of Michigan took a $20 million stake in OpenAI.
When? It was a while back, though, right?
I think it was like 2017, maybe.
So what you're saying is they're watching this Elon Musk OpenAI trail.
Well,
very
according to
closely.
Today's approximate valuations, it's worth about $2 billion.
Yeah.
Which is what is that, like a 9,000% return on your investment?
If it's not a nonprofit.
Well,
I was going to say they're probably watching this trial pretty
they're
close.
On the edge of their seats, listening to every audio moment. Right?
So think about turning 20 million into $2 billion in less than a decade. Because I don't know what the exact
quite
dates
the endowment, right?
Yeah, but all of a sudden that changes the endowment up at the University of Michigan.
Well, and the University of Michigan is also on the forefront. They've been an early adopter, obviously by their not only just their investing, but they've been. I've also noticed that they've been very big in the space of pushing, and I wouldn't say pushing, but delivering to their students the OpenAI technology that's out there.
Well, that's now we know why.
Well, and
right?
Yeah, well,
they had a vested interest in it for everybody.
But that's a great whoever that was back then. What a great foresight to see the future.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, plus, how can you possibly argue that it's a bad idea? I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's the thing today.
Well, and it's the constant talk, and that's what I'll leave us here in the last 30 seconds. That's the constant talk. Is it going to replace us? No, not right. Probably not in at least the 3 of our lifetimes. Maybe eventually, but if it does, then it's going to be a different world. And if it does, it's going to have to be a humanitarian world. But that's a whole different book. And you can read that in the algorithmic state. But what I would say is this: it's going to enhance you. And if you are reluctant to adopt AI, you're going to fall behind.
You're going to be left behind, no doubt.
Yeah, and those are the people that are going to get replaced.
Yeah, I'm fighting this at work right now.
And you need to find and explore with all the different tools that are readily available to you that are also in the permissible bounds that you're allowed to use within your work, whatever your work zone is. Because if you have an AI officer, if you have a legal counsel, find out what are you allowed to use, and they're going to probably spell it out to you in the employee handbook now, or hopefully, because that's what I've been preaching. So learn what you can do and what you can't do, but at home, play around with it and become familiar with the tools. They're all very similar in different ways. It's not brain surgery. It's like talking back and forth into a chat box. And once you do, it expounds on it and it actually takes you. It's like leading you in the dance. All you have to do is follow.
Right, no doubt. And to my fellow seniors out there, don't be afraid of it. It's not going to bite us.
It's
right?
not.
And it'll help us help our grandchildren and
the stuff you can create. Just ask it.
It's a good thing. You shouldn't be afraid of it.
No, it's so powerful, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back after this.
We'll be right back. Cheers.
If you advise clients on AI, data, privacy, or cybersecurity, you cannot afford to miss a development. And right now, developments are happening ever so quickly. Docket Daily tracks every AI, data, privacy, and cybersecurity legal development across all 50 states and the federal government, and delivers to you every morning an updated, curated, attorney-reviewed digest. Proposed bills, enacted laws, regulations, court opinions, executive orders, every jurisdiction, every day, as well as the news headlines. Docket Daily launches May 20th, 2026. First 100 pre-subscribers get 50% off. Stop guessing what you missed. Start your subscription today.
And we are back.
We are back.
We're back.
We were been talking even off air. We kept talking AI.
We did talk AI, and I'm going to tell you, it's interesting to me that we're supposedly taking a break.
Yeah.
We didn't stop talking about this, and in fact, we worked on a project that one of my companies is working on right now, and our friend Claude.
We posed 3 questions that are pretty complex that otherwise you would have spent significant dollars on to ask an expert. And again, it's not that it has all the answers, but it's definitely giving you the roadmap to the answers.
That's a great way to put it. It doesn't have the answers, but it told me what. Actually, part of it is what is the problem.
Right.
And once we figure out the problem, like with anything in life, you can't get the answer if you don't know what the problem is.
Well, and that's a good
very
point.
True.
And I know we're still talking about Copilot, but I keep coming back to Claude because I think it's good to keep comparing, right? That's the bourbon talking again. But
Fourth segment.
Fourth segment.
And the bourbanometer.
We are the bourbanometer is going down. The spirits are up. Gus is sitting here. He's even up out of his three naps. And
actually, I'd argue that we're slacking. We're not even below the label yet. Just saying, you can't even see it.
It's a long label.
Drink up, boys.
It's a handsome bottle.
It's a handsome bottle. We'll be below the label, but before this is over,
it definitely will be. And the one thing you keep coming back is just pose it to it. Just ask it. So on break, we asked it 3 pretty complex questions about your business, and within a matter of 2 minutes, it spit out a pretty analytical junior analyst quality reasoning on each of one of them.
Sure. I'm not even sure I would say. I looked at it really quickly. I don't think that's junior quality. I mean, I think that turned out a high quality answer, and it wasn't 2 minutes. It was about 45 seconds. So for a small company,
are we still talking about?
No. Don't go there. Don't go there. But
oh boy,
no, for a small company like ours with limited funds to do research and
limited
marketing,
resources,
yes,
you can get put into the same spectrum as the big companies pretty quick. And not that it's and trust me, as we talk about the headlines, they are moving towards the engineering components of it too. clearly on the platform side, if I can code a platform that's getting ready to launch full scale here, and actually had somebody reach out this morning that said, "Hey, are you taking investors?" I said, "No, we're not." And that's a great question to have.
Wow, attaboy. Good
Yeah.
for you, man.
Yeah,
That's
getting
a great
questions like
position
that,
to be in.
That's awesome.
So
It's a good sign.
but it's a Claude sign, and I'm remiss if I don't give credit where credit is due. I couldn't have done this with Copilot. And Copilot may very well be coming out with their Vibe coding platform, and I think as we go down through the steps, their workflow, and I'm looking down through it real quickly with their agents. Copilot Studio is their custom agents, and I have not delved into Copilot Studio. So it's not that I'm kicking Copilot, but what I was able to get out of Copilot when I started with Copilot 6 months. No, I'm going back when the last time I really used Copilot heavily, and that was about 6 months to 4 months, other than just my weekly article edits and the common questions that you would ask Google normally. And Copilot's great for that. But you got to tell it specifically. Unlike Google, you're going to get every result. With Copilot, you got to box it in because the hallucinations are still there.
So, Brad, I have a question for the beginner, the person that wants to start with this. Obviously, you have a lot of experience with this. So you've used Claude, you've used Copilot. How does somebody?
I still feel like I'm novice at it in many ways because it's a hard. You can't experience. And I have to be very transparent. There's just no way I can, and unless I'm in a lab where that's my job all day long, where I experience all these different platforms that are coming out so quickly. But I have experienced the major platforms we're talking about. That's the 6. That's Gemini, Copilot, Claude, Meta AI, which has made big leaps this week. That was in the headlines this week, and Grok, and I'm leaving one out there. ChatGPT. How could I forget?
How could you leave that one?
How could I forget?
I mean,
I
can't
Dario
believe
right now is going yes.
Actually, I can't believe.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm actually surprised I came up with that out of the list of companies you were rattling off.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's your OCD kicking in. That's like you counting the holes in your stockings.
Apparently,
you just never you just never take your eyes off your legs.
There's that one hole right in the middle that really bothered me.
It really does. I mean, he gets a tear in his stockings. I mean, he's fit to be tied all night long.
There's a lot hanging out if that happens.
Interestingly, I don't know if you planned on getting me here, but the way you answered that is where I was going with my question. Is you just named off 6, and you guys are reasonably well versed in this whole world. For the 200 million people who have no idea where to start, how does one start somewhere, and how do they know to go move from A to B, or maybe B isn't working to C? So how does this, does AI in and of itself need a marketing plan to differentiate the 6 AI titans?
Well, and that's what I'm attempting to do in this 6-part segment where we walk through every.
It's going to take us 6 months.
But I mean, literally, the bourbon is just slowing us down. It's taking us to a snow girl. But actually,
Brad has asked each platform what they're good at and what they're not good at. He's found them to be surprisingly revealing and honest.
They are. Yeah. And
I would expect them to be nothing but honest, because this is just a factual pursuit. This doesn't have much. It's not human emotion yet, right? This is just data.
They have no reason to lie and say, I'm actually pretty good at that too.
No, but sometimes they're incentivized, right? So it depends on how they're coded. And
didn't we talk about this in terms of the spirituality of coding?
And racism.
We talked about this a week or two ago.
Well, and then bringing in philosophers and the Christian leaders.
Right.
And I mean, there is, it all depends on how, again, the foundation of what they're built on. But yes, so when and I think the best advice is don't be afraid. Whatever platform is catching your eye, if you see a headline, then if it's free, pull it up, try it. The only thing I would stay away from, just to be careful from a security level for sure, is if it's anything outside the United States, you just don't know. European Union platforms, you can pretty much be sure that they're to be trusted because their regulations are as high as they come. Anywhere else in the world, hate to say it because Trump's over in China right now trying to make, something out of what's, it's not the Cold War again, but it's the AI race war, right? So it's us against them. And hopefully they can come to some sort of middle ground that makes sense for everybody. It shouldn't be a race against each other. It should be a race for humanity.
Yeah, I was going to say it's more of a humanity thing,
right,
than our country or your country.
And if we're all willing to adopt that, and I'm not sure the leaders are, and we'll find out, right? Time will tell. But when they're cutting down deals that you can't do across,
If everybody in the world were interested in what's best for humanity, we wouldn't have all these wars. We wouldn't have all this terrorism. We wouldn't have all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll get into the Beatles songs.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we just might have written a new one.
I think we just might have. It's a new AI hit.
Is it possible, though, Perry, if everybody was just consumed by what's good for humanity, we might not have some of the things that have been good for humanity, but it had to sacrifice a little bit to get there.
And that's
Let's use ChatGPT as an example. They were supposed to be a not-for-profit, just for humanity.
Right. That's the argument that's going on right now in the federal district court in Oakland.
And they've been a for-profit, but they've still improved humanity. You know what I mean?
Well, they have, and they've improved it immensely. If it wasn't for Chat, and this is, if I were the plaintiffs, or if I was defense counsel, I'm sorry, I got to get my parties straight. Musk's counsel is
he's the plaintiff.
Yeah, he's the plaintiff. So if I'm defense counsel, when it's my time, or if I'm cross-examining all these witnesses that are coming through, and it's my time to make my argument, it would be this. ChatGPT is outswung its initial mission by so far. Who would have even envisioned that we would be having this revolutionary build-outs, these world-changing, this epic thing where with Bourbon on Brad, they're talking about it like this is, they have to talk about it every day.
So the question is, could they do all that without the profit?
I don't think they could, Para.
And profit and revenue are two totally different things.
And that was my honest take. Yeah.
I think that's where I was going, Perry. That
so the revenue could still be there.
Yeah, sometimes the profit motive has to be involved for the good of humanity.
Well, the good,
right?
and
I think,
and the easy solution for OpenAI right now, because we've talked about that going back to the first Better with Bourbon episodes, was they're not profitable. It's kind of like the whole Amazon model again. They keep raising money because they're building infrastructure, but yet at the same time they're building up this annual revenue that's going to be repeating. So, it's the subscriber base. And once you start building that and you build that and you start building on top of that, eventually it's going to be really profitable. So right now it's been an easy case to say, look, we haven't been profitable. So we're still meeting that.
So that's a question that I guess neither of us have asked, the last week or so as we've been talking about. Gus, you having a problem there, buddy?
Yeah, it's his old age. Yeah, he's going to go to the pillow.
As we've been talking about this trial, I guess the base question should be, has OpenAI made a profit?
Well,
we talk about its worth and its revenue, but that's not profit.
Yes and no, because the subsidiary they set up specifically, which is 98%, 99% of the company now, is for profit. They're cutting commercial deals. They're not doing this OpenAI sharing of, just like, we talked about the engineering, code that's being shared to better, like and you wonder if some of these companies are reacting to it as a knee jerk, right? We talked about Microsoft headlines and then all of a sudden now paying out journalists and writers,
But being for profit and making a profit are two different things. So are they making a profit?
Not the second.
So they're still not profitable yet. So how's there even a lawsuit?
Well, because
they stated they're for profit.
Yeah, it's because of the profit deals that they're cutting. It does. There's no doubt it does go against their initial mission. If you look back to mid 2000s when it formed, when they were raising this money from Elon for $38 billion and the other major donors, the idea was it was a humanitarian, open it up, let's create AI as a betterment for humanity.
Sure. And
figure out what it can do for us. And again, this is before all the, and people think, well, AI just came about in 2022, 2023 when ChatGPT. No, it's been around since 1950. But every time it goes through this growth period, it's hit a glass ceiling so hard that it leaves a concussion-worthy, event that you have to go into the tent for. And it stops. It stops cold hardy. And so we are now in the third cycle of what they've called the AI winters.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was
I was not aware of that.
First book.
I've only been around this for 7-8 years.
The second one was in what, the 80s?
It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
So that was another big push when
And it flopped. We just didn't have the computing.
didn't have the computing
power.
capacity to keep up with it. And so now we do the silicon, microchip has been amazing, right? More efficient. And then we talk about that. More efficient, right? More efficient, more capabilities, more efficient, more capabilities. And now with this neuro design that it has going on where you can draw from a million inferences instead of just one data. It's amazing, right?
Well, it seems from a 10,000-foot view
Yeah.
that now in its third iteration, we have the compute power, we have the technology. We don't have the means to properly control it or properly use it.
And both of those, well, the control factor is in my mind the more scary moment because that's never really been a factor, right? So
because it never got to
never got to that point where we had to worry about it because it just kind of died on the vine.
Yeah, they made movies about it.
If we have not, let me pose this though.
Yeah, right.
Terminator.
If we have not used or abused it yet, perhaps control is not necessary until abuse becomes.
Oh, it's been apparent, Lou. It's been apparent through the deep fakes. There was, early on, even before the video,
yeah, we've been talking about these.
in the deep fakes, the synthetic videos, the voiceovers, and hence that's why the European Union requires it. That's why California and New York now require it. That's why my videos in my promo videos now say this is not a human voice. These are not humans. These are AI generated. And this video is AI generated. You need these disclosures.
Fair point.
To clearly disclose it because the deep fakes out there, and I'm sure if you're just scrolling through Meta, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, any one of the major platforms out there, there's got to be times you're looking at a video going, man, that is outlandish. That can't be real. It's got to be AI. So you're left puzzling. So now imagine, and there was a scenario just like this. There was a scenario in the financial markets that rocked the Wall Street for half a day because they thought a real episode was happening based on an AI video.
How much money do you think changed hands based on that real or imagined event?
You can speculate on that.
No, I'm a little bit of conspiracy theorist, so I'm thinking somebody kicked some serious financial ass in that 30 minutes.
It's significant, right?
Yeah.
So when you say until it gets in the wrong hands, well, it has been in the wrong hands, and that's the biggest protection. We have to be careful because we're racing so quickly to go forward. And even the top leaders, Dario, he's been on every podcast saying, guys, and this is one of the guys that's to benefit the most. I mean, he started his own company from ChatGPT because he had principal differences. He turned down the Department of War over differences in principle, right?
And that was pretty
which also
publicized.
Which also probably led from that 10 times growth over time period to 80 times. It was a genius move on his part. Personally, but
he's another Elon Musk, I think.
Oh, he is. And that's why
he thinks at a different level.
That's why I think him and Elon obviously cut this Colossus deal this week, and it's amazing.
I'd like to throw this out there. Dario, Elon. Why do these guys all have such unique names?
Yeah, why aren't they named like Bob
Louis
or Louis or Brad?
I mean, you got white bread, Italian bread here. And why do these guys have these? It's just like they were
white bread.
They were named.
I thought I was multi-grain. I got to be honest.
We're all kind of multi-grain, right? That's so funny.
By white bread, I mean that's
I love
town talk.
I love your assessment, Lou.
But my point is it's interesting to me how many of these brilliant guys have these names that were like, is that your real name? Or is your real name Joe Smith? But it sounds better if it's Elon or Dario or Socrates, or pick something. I don't know.
You know you've
it's just
made
amazing.
It, you
to
know
me.
you made it when you can just say a first name and you immediately think of one person. Even if it's a common name, you say Sam. And one of the first Sams you're going to think about today is Sam Altman, ChatGPT. And that's powerful right now. And that's why he took the stand yesterday. And that's why he was defending on it. And to Sam's credit, to his not credit, we can talk about it. I have talked about it. I will talk about it for just another 30 seconds. He has not taken any equity stake as a CEO of OpenAI ChatGPT. But yet, his investments, because he was the president of the Y coordinator out. It was like this Y incubator.
Sam Altman.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, and he has 4 investments that are kicking it, and one of them's Reddit. In fact, he even stepped in as the interim president on that. So yeah,
Was that right?
Yeah, he's worth over $1 billion based on his own investments after he exited from his company in 2011 for about.
Sam Altman.
Man.
Sam Altman, without
And supposedly hasn't made a penny at ChatGPT.
No, he's taken a very de minimis salary for a CEO of a company of this worth, just to cover his costs. No equity.
Well, yeah, but the day it goes public, he's going to be a trillionaire.
Is it? If he has no equity, how?
Oh, he has no
He
equity?
has 0 equity. Yeah.
I'm thinking he's got something wild.
There has to be.
Yeah, right.
There's no
There's
way.
a skeptic in all of
Come
this,
on,
right?
man.
There's no doubt there's a back end deal on
There's
this, right?
no
Not
way
to-
this dude's going out there.
There's no
naked.
way.
I mean, they got
and not to
They have
diminish.
this non-profit parent company. They
Yeah.
have this for-profit company underneath. That's
I'm not trying to diminish.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't know the guy, obviously, but I mean, there's just.
We should have
I
Sam
just,
on
I'm
the
just,
show. I mean,
there's just.
he should come to the he should come
should.
to the Bourbon Basement,
Come here and defend yourself.
and we should
Sam.
talk. We should talk openly, like OpenAI.
I mean, seriously,
were the three
there's no way.
Musketeers' names?
There's no way if you have a
4
company
Musketeers.
that's IPO is expected to be north of $1 trillion. There's no way he doesn't have a financial interest in that. I refuse to believe it.
Well, ask Siri right now while we stand.
Well, he has a financial
Or-
interest. He doesn't
or
have to
Gemini
have
or
equity,
Claude or-
but he can have a financial interest.
Well, he definitely has a financial interest because
based on-
he's a CEO.
but
He's
it
getting
doesn't-
compensated, but
But it's not an equity position, right?
clearly, well, that's what I've read over and over again. I mean, just
Does Sam Altman have an equity position in OpenAI?
here we go.
While he's looking at that, I think I'm going to change my name
Here's an
to
answer from EBC.com.
Sam Altman has no equity position in OpenAI.
Yeah, crazy, right?
no equity position, but he does have a financial position.
Well, he's definitely a financial.
Well, so if he's the
financial
CEO,
interest.
Yeah, he's a CEO. He's getting paid. He's getting health benefits.
Yeah, but I mean-
and we know what
Yeah.
those health benefits cost. These,
yeah.
I mean, they're worth billions, right?
Hey, pharmacists got to make a living too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, who doesn't want to work for just health benefits?
I wouldn't want to work for a healthcare company, not after what's been happening to those guys.
Yeah.
So my original question was Elon, Dario, and you just come up with Sam. Boring Sam. I think I'm going to change my name though. I'm going to be D'Artagnan. I'm going to be one of the 3 musketeers, or were there 3 or 4 musketeers?
Actually, you look more like a Dario to me.
Yeah,
You can pull off the Dario thing. That's a power name.
I told you, the ironic thing
But
about
there's already one of those.
I know, but the ironic thing
Yeah,
about
but he's
Dario, and I've said this about because it reminds me of our walk in Naples, because because Dario looks just like the Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah, you've said that.
The glasses.
Really?
Oh yeah. Have you seen a picture of him?
I don't know. I wouldn't know him if he walked in
Barry,
right now.
while I'm talking to Louis, pull up a picture and bring it over here because it's impressive. Yeah. So he looks just like Rick Moranis with the glasses. And so when you and I were walking down, you remember that I've told this scene over and over again. When we were walking down and we did our happy hour tour through Naples.
Right. This is Florida, not Italy.
That's right.
That dude,
Yeah.
that's him.
Yeah. That's Dario.
Looks a little bit like Governor Shapiro from Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, a little bit there. Yeah, a little bit there. But there's closer up images of his face, and it has that Rick Moranis. look from the 80s, you know, where you kind of have that one crazy eye that's just not right. And if you remember in Ghostbusters, I think Rick Moranis was the CPA, which made perfect sense, right? You know, it was the ism that was taken over, and it was the OCD that was like, listen, even though I'm trying to throw a party, even though I'm trying to throw a party.
You know who he looks like? Do you remember the character? No, the character Jiminy Glick from.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's probably, and that's maybe why I'm so relatable to him, because there's all these folks that he looks like. But you know what's even more impressive about him is
the character was Martin Short.
Oh,
played,
yeah,
Jiminy Glick.
Yes, Martin Short,
Right.
little bit like that.
Yeah. Hey, Dario, man, good for you, pal.
No, he's hitting it.
Well, so I can't be Dario. He's already Dario.
No, but Dario's impressive, and I would love to have Dario on our show at some point. In fact, we would go to Dario to even talk, because Anthropic has been a mover and shaker. And the one thing
The guy's he's got it going on.
the one thing I will give him, he is a man of principles. His principles. I'm not saying they're the right
He is
principles.
that.
So, and I respect that, because I feel like I'm that way.
That's good stuff. It's challenge.
you hold to your principles, you know. So what is it? What are those lines you're going to hold to? And for him to walk away from OpenAI, ChatGPT, after he helped develop ChatGPT 2 and 3, you talk about a risk. I mean, that was what put AI on this global stage that's here to probably stay.
I got to give a guy like that a big old fist pump that he stuck by his principles. I know we're joking about who he looks like and all that.
Yeah, but
that's awesome. What he's done, what he did, what
He's a
done,
pioneer.
and what he's doing.
Oh, he's a
pioneer.
Yeah, and now we talk about the headlines, the infrastructure.
Really cool stuff.
I mean, and not only just the infrastructure of the normal infrastructure, but he's going outside the box to cut a deal with Elon. I mean, clearly Elon came to him and said, I love Cursor. Don't raise that $2 billion.
I'd like to be a bug on the wall to hear that conversation.
I'm thinking it went something like this. Because they went out with Cursor and they're like, we need to raise $2 billion. They started going out, and that conversation ended quickly. Elon called and said, listen, squash that. I'm going to give you $10 billion right now, and I want an option to purchase it for $50 billion in 6 to 8 months from now.
Really? Yeah. Are you taking that deal?
Oh, are you taking that deal? So
no shit.
So they did take the deal, but guess what Dario did with that deal, I think? Because now we're seeing.
Turned around and said, I'll spend that money on your data center, your giga center, whatever you're calling it.
I think he leveraged to say, then fine, then let me lease the GPUs from your data center, Colossus. And if you are true to what you think that Cursor is, and trust me, I'm a believer in Cursor. I've seen it. Then we're in bed together. This is a deal that we're doing together.
That's a scary thought.
Dang. I didn't see us go in this direction.
No.
We're getting down deep into the conspiracy theory. I don't even want to
We're
call it conspiracy
zigging
theory.
and
I think
zagging.
it's just intellectual thought process, right?
I don't think it's conspiracy when you're looking, you know, because we've been speculating as every one of the headlines. You know, it's
really not conspiratorial. I mean, it's factual.
Because you know we've been spitting out the headlines every morning. So once you spit out these headlines, and you're kind of going, okay. And I even did a head scratcher on the one. I said, Perry, he said, why is Elon giving up his GPU space when you know he's got all these humanoids ready to roll out?
There has to be a reason.
There has to be a reason he's giving that up, because that is like prime oceanfront, top of the market property, right?
Yeah, there's much more to that story. We'll probably know.
We're gonna figure it out quickly. And I think I called it. I'll put it down. It was was it early? Was it Monday? Or is it last week?
I don't know. Seriously, it just.
But I called it. I said instead of the 3 IPOs happening, I see there being a pre-merger between Anthropic and SpaceX.
Yeah, that was earlier this week. Yeah,
and I see them both becoming one. There's commonalities where they can complement each other, and they can all become bigger and better because they're together.
Do you think these guys care about money at this point? Most of the world is fascinated by $1 billion or $1 trillion. I don't think these guys care about money. I've
said for a long time, I don't think Elon is motivated by money.
I don't think they are. I think
he's
they're
motivated by
an intellectual pursuit.
And he wants to.
That's a great place to be in, right? I mean,
Sure, yeah.
Who wouldn't love to
It's
be in that
easy to
place?
say when you have
It's
that
easy
kind
to
of
say
money.
when you're worth twice
When
as
you
much as
have
the
it.
next second person in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's worth more
I'm
than
not
most
here.
countries in the world.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if I lose this lawsuit,
I wasn't in it for the money. But I truly believe that Elon is more into his legacy than his money. And let's face it. Have you ever seen a picture of Elon driving a Lamborghini or
no, he's
or anything? He doesn't do
pretty
that.
low-key.
He doesn't do that.
He drives those low grade Teslas.
He lives in like yeah.
Those things are firing up at every every long red light. Those things are just getting.
I like to think he at least has a plaid, but
No,
yeah.
he does.
But he doesn't. And he lives in one of those. He lives in a tiny house. Like he doesn't. I just don't think
I've told
money
you the
is
same
his
thing.
thing.
You know, I think when you're like Elon, and I don't think his mind shuts off.
I believe that.
I mean, how do you take on the governmental role when Trump first won?
I don't know.
You're dealing, and I think that's what his investors were all asking. Hey, listen, our stock at Tesla is dipping. You need to get back focused on what you're good at. But he took on this major role of trying to make the government more efficient, right? So he's taking this on. He's
I'd
sending.
say he lost his ass during that time.
Well, a little bit, right? So Tesla suffered, and then he's sending rocket ships up to wherever. He's got the satellites going up for
whatever.
Starlink. I mean, we can name all the different things. You got Starlink, you got SpaceX, you got XAI, you got Tesla. You have Neuralink that's in the background, just waiting to come out. You have the humanoids that are waiting to come out. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Elon's best. We have not seen it.
It's yet to come.
It's yet to come. And when he cut this deal with Anthropic, he wanted to make sure he had the very best reasoning behind the scenes.
I'll tell you what else is yet to come. The fifth segment, because we're just about out
And
of
the
time.
fifth segment is right around the corner.
Fourth segment?
It's over.
If you advise clients on AI, data, privacy, or cybersecurity, you cannot afford to miss a development. And right now, developments are happening ever so quickly. Docket Daily tracks every AI, data, privacy, and cybersecurity legal development across all 50 states and the federal government, and delivers to you every morning an updated, curated, attorney-reviewed digest. Proposed bills, enacted laws, regulations, court opinions, executive orders, every jurisdiction, every day, as well as the news headlines. Docket Daily launches May 20th, 2026. First 100 pre-subscribers get 50% off. Stop guessing what you missed. Start your subscription today.
And up in the background is doing this.
I won't be able to tell until I get it on my computer.
Wow.
I mean, was there not just a hanger?
You can't.
I mean, you can't.
There is no artist that can do that.
That's what I'm saying, right?
We are live, by the way.
All right,
No artist can
And we
do
are
that.
back as we were just creating this most mystical bourbon.
magical tour
Yeah,
or something Beatle-ish.
we lit up a cigar.
What number are we on here, Brad?
We are on the fifth segment,
That's the one.
the magical segment. For those that stick it out,
The ones who are lucky enough to hang around this long,
that haven't left us after the first three or four,
or maybe I should say pathetic enough to stick around this long.
or the sick ones that just say, you know what, I'm just skipping ahead to the fifth segment because this is boring.
I'm gonna make a bet. There's probably more reprobates out there that just say, "Hey,
Skip
through
to
1
5.
through 4. Let's go to 5."
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do.
But here we are. We're staring down that bottle like it's the gun barrel at the
Hey,
clay
we're-
shoot.
And we're below the label.
And we are below label.
Below label.
We have the.
We are.
You gonna save some for Mrs. Martin?
It
now.
is the Tanya pourer, right?
That's the.
right.
Should we call that Tanya's taste?
It is Tanya's taste, yeah.
I called it Tanya's cut, but you guys reframed it Tanya's taste last week, and
think
that's fine.
Exactly what it is, though.
That's fine.
But here's to Penelope on delivering another wonderful.
Yet again, Penelope is killing it.
3 for 3. Penelope Architect, Penelope Rio, and now just Penelope Bourbon.
It's the straight. It's a
straight
four grain straight.
It is their go-to, right?
It is. Well, I don't know if that's their go-to, but it's going to become my go-to for cost and taste, and it's pretty damn
It's
good.
It's a very reasonably priced, very good. You can't go wrong with it. You just can't go. It's very good.
No, it is very good.
I get nothing bad to say about it.
No.
Other than it's almost gone.
So we are into.
We could fix that tomorrow.
Well, I'm sure. Well, I'll ask you how you're feeling when you're getting on that plane at 8.
Well,
That earlier flight your brother booked.
Perry, you have to fly at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
No. I have to leave home about 8:30. My flight's not till noon. But by the time I get on the plane, I'll probably be well into one.
That's
And I'm
the only
sure
way-
a bourbon in the airport
First
is
of all, that's
probably
the
like
only way I
$20.
fly. I have to have 2 drinks in the airport because you know what?
Because airport drinks are just, they hit different.
They do hit different, and plus you're not driving. You're flying.
Yep. And then when I get there, I'm
I never
still
thought
not
of that,
driving.
but you're right.
I had to ride with my brother, which I don't know. That could be risky.
Hey.
Sorry, Dave. No offense.
Yeah, and I know your office mate, who he posts nothing but airport beers
And pit baseball.
and baseball. So there's something about an airport beer. It's like you're going someplace good. You don't
And
have to worry
selfies
about
of him and Perry in one swiveling stool.
It's kind of like going to the beach. It's kind of like going to the beach in that time of day doesn't matter, right?
That's true.
It's relevant, and you're on your way somewhere where having a drink at whatever time of day is irrelevant.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere,
Yeah,
everywhere,
right.
anytime.
When you're in an airport, you're connected to the whole world, right?
It's kind of like the crypto world. We're 24/7. We trade.
How you doing in crypto these days?
It is definitely somewhat of a winter. CRO spiked about 4 or 5 months ago. It was right before my surgery. I can remember exactly where I was because I was giving the keynote, or I was on a panel down at a AI manufacturing conference, and I'm walking through the conference halls going, "Oh my goodness, Crow's going from 8 cents, 10 cents, 12 cents, 15 cents, 25 cents."
Jesus, you're buying.
I was ready heavily, and my son is the one that, him and I have been doing this together, so we're texting back and forth. I was having a hard time concentrating on the AI conference, but still in it for the long term. I really feel that there's a utilitarian value from that. Crypto.com, little self plug in. This is not endorsed, not paid for, just selfish. And in the interest of transparency, right? But my mind thinking in there is that they are, and I admire their attorneys because they go into every country, they go into and they were ahead of the game. Unlike some of the other ones that were getting burnt because the regulatory standards were getting called on the carpet, they weren't meeting these standards, and now as the Clarity Act is getting, it's coming through tomorrow, right, Per? The 14th.
No, yeah.
That's the bourbon
14th
talking.
or 15th.
No, the Clarity Act.
It was. I thought it was Friday the 15th, but it's tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, so I think that's when it's starting is with the Senate. Of
course, by the time this airs, it'll have already happened.
We're going to be behind it, but the Senate committee is willing to take on these steps for the crypto, and if they bring in the regulations that are going to establish similar to the SEC regulations, we're not guessing where do we fit this in. What I liked about crypto.com is they said, you know what, if we had any kind of doubt, we're going to file it. Mm-hmm. And they did that all around the world. And it's been an amazing model. And now they're one of their largest growing. They're the crypto.com stadium, I think, is the LA Lakers. Are they I think they're the sponsor.
It's something out there. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is.
I think they're the sponsor out there. They're the sponsor of Formula One. They've really done an amazing job, and their CEO is impressive. He took a few hard knocks, and we all go through life, and we learned that, right? In his previous experience, but he learned from it, and he's bounced back, and he's now protecting the company, and I like that.
Is there a CEO that's successful today that hasn't had a hard knock at some point?
Well, and I think everybody looks
or a flat out failure.
Well,
it happens.
and that happens. And you should never look at a failure as a failure. It is a learning lesson. It's a valuable learning lessons.
Yeah, I should rephrase that.
Well, and
Somebody who has struggled to make it work. Innovators
But Perry,
oftentimes run up against that.
but that's what we all are told is a failure, right? So
right.
when you hit that, it can emotionally cripple you. It can take you out of the game. And Lou, that's what I admire about you. You've been through 'em. We've all been through them, you know?
Sure.
And life throws it. We talked about life before throwing, hard punches at you. But when it comes to business, there's no doubt.
If you're not getting the hits, you're not taking the chances, right?
Exactly. So take them, learn from them on this special journey or on the.
Where are we going with this journey?
Well, I don't know.
He
just got that.
I know
He just got that serious look in his eye.
He went serious on us there,
He
Perry.
did, real serious.
Yeah.
I'm not going too serious, boys. I would just share this. I don't think it's wisdom. You could take it or what is it? It's 2 cents of advice.
It's wisdom if it's coming from you, buddy.
But we are on a very short journey of a special trip. So experience all the highs and lows. And it's those highs and lows that bring you at the end of the day. And as you're going through them, you're going, oh, what the fuck, What the fuck?
Sometimes.
Yeah, what did I do to deserve this, God? How do I battle back? I'm at a low. Do I need some prescription drugs to get me out of this? And we've all been there, and it's an anxious world. So once you realize that, and you step back and take a look at the broader scope, and you go, yeah, but this is a very short playing field that we get to play with. So don't sit back and hide. Get out there and play.
You're talking about our 80, 90 years in this planet, or this life, versus,
or possibly longer with the
longer. I know with the new meds.
So what I'm saying is, get out there and play. Don't let one setback defeat you, because if you got up to that point, you were really close. I mean, really close, right? So learn from that, and now go do it the second time, and watch. And I guarantee if you research some of the guys that we're talking about that are now Dario, Sam, we're using the first names, right? Elon, they had setbacks.
Louis,
for shizzle.
Can you think about?
Geez, there I go again.
What is that?
You can draw parallels to we talked about last episode or 2 episodes ago about my astrophotography and about how these distances of things that I'm taking photos of being even 1,500 light years away.
It seems like that, but when you're taking ass photos, that nebulous gets smaller at the anus. Is it Uranus or?
It's Uranus. Most scientists.
That was 43 seconds, folks, from the time we went from just embrace life for the small
to Uranus,
the short period of time that we're here, too.
But that's the second. That's
a couple of planets.
That's the second philosophical advice I have, and I started with that today. Just get a laugh at everything in life.
Well, because
if you don't laugh at the failures and the what's going on, or what Perry's shooting with his long lens.
But my point is, if you look at it from that standpoint, so one of my favorite targets is about 1,500 light years from Earth. Okay, so we can't travel at the speed of light. It's physically impossible. So
right now,
if you're traveling at a fraction of that, like our Voyager that just left our heliosphere 45 years after it left Earth, I mean, it took that long just to get outside of our solar system.
Antiquated technology.
So the blip in time that we, the three of us and everybody listening to us, exists on this planet, which is maybe 100 years if you're lucky.
Right now.
Doesn't even, that's a tiny little fraction of the time it would take just to get to that thing that I'm taking a picture of, that's looking back in time 1,500 years. It puts everything in perspective so much. And when I look at the sky, and I look at it differently than most people do because of my hobby, you think.
And by the way, Perry usually, when he's looking at the sky, he's usually on a blanket rolled out
Don't say it. Don't do it.
with
No, don't.
The stilettos.
the picnic
He's gonna have his stilettos
picnic
on.
basket. No, there's no stilettos. It's just the stockings. And usually I have to endure.
Actually, I prefer to do it en natural, if you follow me.
For those of
The
you that
hell with the stilettos. And
I
the-
know a lot of you just
fishnet.
listen to us and whatnot, but at some point we're going to have literally, we got to show Perry in full regalia.
Oh, we do.
The fishnets.
Oh, you don't think I'm throwing that out there?
anybody
and the
who's-
size 11 and a half stilettos trying
No,
to get
the
on
13s.
OnlyFans.
Anybody who's
13,
been listening
man.
for a
13.
while.
These are Shaq-sized stilettos.
Uh-oh.
Anybody who's been listening for any length of time has seen it
Special order.
already.
I mean, they need their own. They need their own boat from China to ship them.
there's not much. There's
And
not
it's a
much
slow
point in me
boat for
trying to have a serious conversation in the fifth segment. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, good luck on that,
The
Mitch.
point is, putting things into perspective. You're right. It's a blip in time that we exist
No,
on
it
this
is,
planet.
and so
it's so minuscule.
So
Irrelevant.
if I could give 2 cents of counsel advice, right? Don't take it too serious. Back up and enjoy the highs, the lows, all levels of the octaves, because that's what we're here to enjoy. Because once we get to heaven, it's supposed to be bliss ever after, and we're not going to experience that. So now you're always happy, and you can't appreciate what the happiness is without the despair and the trials and tribulations in between, you know?
It's interesting that you're talking about success and failure and the how close they are to each other. I'm not sure when
it's so close. It's like a Saturday night to a Sunday morning.
Sure, it is. So where I was going with that is, I'm not sure when we're going to go to air with this, but this coming weekend is the PGA, and I think there's nothing that personifies the fine line between success and failure as
In
being
golf?
a professional golfer, right?
Well, you're living and breathing it through Matt.
You are, well, I am through my nephew, and
I'm living and breathing it
you're
through
doing
my
it
son.
through your son, but you know that fine line. But it exposes your either success or failure. There's nobody's opinion. The number is what the number is.
Well,
And I'm only saying this as I'm looking at the sign across the room here about what's that say? That's what I do when I play golf.
Yeah.
I drink rum.
Well,
Okay.
and who
But-
do you think bought me that one?
That's you. That's what you drink, right? You're a
Oh
rum
no,
guy.
I bought that one.
Yeah, Barry.
So-
I think that was my housewarming gift when or at least
No, I think it was just because
not just because,
we're
right?
degenerates, and I was,
Hey, who do you guys like this weekend in the PGA?
Well, it's, and you're talking about that. And so we've seen some great stories come out of the PGA lately, right? Especially like Matt Fitzgerald's brother,
How about that?
who's been
huh?
struggling, right? And then all of a sudden you say Matt's the guy that carried him, Matt's the guy that won it for him. He's the one that got the, but yet he was 15 strokes ahead of Matt at this last tournament.
How about that, huh?
Yeah. So he's obviously got talent. He was right there.
Well, he was on the DP World Tour, and he had won over there. We just didn't know much about him here. Is he your pick this week at the PGA?
No, I'm not saying he's my pick, but that's a great story, right? So there's
Sure.
a hardship story, and he's a little bit older, but much like Matt, that break is the next round.
It is. It truly is. Who you like, Barry? Who you got this weekend?
Whoops, I didn't have my volume up.
I think we should each throw in a quarter and,
All right,
and
well,
take a pick.
all right,
and,
let's take-
So this is
our
the
pick.
one at Aronimink, right?
yeah, this is Ronimink. Yeah,
Yeah, let's
And
take our picks right now.
Which is I have not had I've not been fortunate to be there, but I understand Ronimink is one of the
Philadelphia.
most awesome places to
Oh,
play golf out in
our good
Philadelphia.
friend and fellow guest here 2 weeks ago gets to play that often. Greg Cepas.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
tells me it's a
So my,
much like Oakmont, it's a challenging course.
Sure.
Fun fact: my brother Dave's former girlfriend, and I think they were actually engaged for a period of time. Her father was a member there,
Really?
out in Philly. Yeah, he worked for I forget who he worked for, some big company. But anyway, I never got to play there.
Who you got?
I'm gonna probably stick with it. I'm not much into betting. I'd probably go with one of the easy picks like a Scotty or a Rory. Although Rory I saw today had
he
all
got
kinds of problems
blisters.
with his feet. Yeah.
How about that? You don't think about it, but The
Yeah.
guy has blisters on his feet. You got to walk.
Good luck
72
playing golf
holes.
with
You-
blisters on your feet.
Who would
and they
ever
don't
thought that
the
might
other
take
thing-
him
the other
down?
and they
thing
don't
I-
heal
well,
overnight.
I've lived and breathed it with Harrison because there's nobody else that I've watched. And in fact, his coach said there's nobody else that he's seen that's ever practiced as much to him. Is
Does he have problems with his feet?
his hands? So
Oh,
much
even
like when I
worse.
was much like when I was shooting 5,000 shots a day in Denver in a climate that was so dry, your hands start blistering and they start opening up, right? So he gets this new skin, and it's like this. I don't even know what it is, but it's like the stuff that just kind of patches it
some
up.
people super glue.
Well, that's kind of what I think new skin
That's
is.
what new skin is.
Yeah, I mean,
that
I don't know the technicalities. I mean, maybe you
It's
know.
very close.
Yeah,
But he does get blisters on his hands.
on his hands all the time.
Yeah.
Is that right? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it bleeds.
He's swinging club that much. you're
He
probably
practices that much that it bleeds.
That's awesome.
Wait till you start playing the guitar more.
Well,
That's painful.
hey, listen, that in the corner sitting there is what my passion is after Doc Daily goes, right?
No, when I started playing the guitar, I couldn't believe on my fretting fingers on my left hand,
What's your fretting fingers? Is that for Freddie?
fretting.
No.
The fingers you use to compress the frets, especially on an acoustic.
Yeah.
Until you develop the calluses on them, it's very painful.
Oh.
It takes a couple week period, and all of a sudden they get calloused. And like I had calluses on my fingers for years that I couldn't even feel the ends of my fingers. But it's been so long since.
Well,
I
clearly you
played.
got to build
Be
it up.
very careful about where you're going with that, Perry.
Yeah. So
Not on the palm of my hand.
Well,
the
I've been trying to
finger.
learn. So I started with the acoustic guitar, and I realized that has too many strings on it. So I tried to find the two
Bass
string
only has
bass,
4.
and they,
Two.
but they don't make a 2-string bass. So there was a 4 and 5 string I had to choose from.
I'm going to tell you. Anybody who's
Guys are
listening,
starting the issue here. Who you got this
All right.
weekend?
So here's
I'm going to go with Scotty.
You got Scotty Chef.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Scotty.
Who you got?
Or John Rahm, one of the two. Is John playing?
I don't know.
He's
They let
a
him in?
live guy.
no, yeah, he is, but yeah, I think he has exemption.
Didn't they fix that?
Yeah, no, I think on the
They're
majors.
working on that.
Yeah, I would say.
And I'll tell you who else I'm a huge fan of is Justin Rose. I'm going with Justin Rose.
No, all right.
Justin Rose is
got
my
Mitch.
pick.
Trust me, I picked him for the. Masters.
I'm a huge fan of Justin Rose.
But you know who I liked last week was Ricky Fowler, and he was right there.
Fowler is coming out of nowhere right now. It's
Right?
looking like the orange demon from
Yeah.
Oklahoma State is coming back.
is he from
right?
Tennessee or something?
No, he's Oklahoma State. He's a cowboy.
No, he was, and he's
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why.
he's stuck to that all through the haircuts too.
Yeah,
And he's gone
yeah.
long, he's gone short, he's gone with the mustache.
I think he's
no
a
mustache.
I think he's a has-been.
Really?
Yeah. That's my
I
prediction.
think
I don't think he's realized
he
his
is going to
potential.
be passed through to was, and now he's reemerging as will be again.
I think so.
But I
hope
think
you're
he's
right.
going to take a hind seat to the Scarlet Knight out of Rutgers
Uh-oh.
University.
Coming out of the gutter,
Oh, got her up.
Chris Gotterup. Watch out for my man Gotterup.
coming down the pipe. So we got Scotty Scheffler. We got.
You got Scheffler.
No, I'm
You
going with
got-
Justin Rose.
Oh, you went.
you
yeah,
went
let's change it up.
Then I'm
yeah.
going to take Scheffler. So, and here's why I was thinking about him beforehand, because he's been taking a few punches and he's in the corner. He's gone down for the count twice. He's not out.
Oh, he's never.
Scotty?
I'm going Scotty.
Oh, he's never out. He's never out.
I'm going Scotty. I just think he's coming back. Just when he thought he was down, might not be able to recover from it. I think Scotty's going to come and
Okay,
take.
we got a bet here. It's $5 a man. We're cheap ass people here.
Okay.
And
$5 and one bourbon.
and the two losers have to donate to charity.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Okay, make it.
And the winner gets to
we're
pick
gonna
the
make
charity.
We're going to make it $50 a guy. The two losers donate to charity, right?
Perfect.
Okay. That's
Perfect.
fine.
I love it.
You got
And the
I got-
winner gets to pick the charity.
Yes.
The winner gets to pick the
Winner
charity.
picks
The other
the
two
charity. I
donate
like
to-
it.
Fair.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're going to continue to smoke our cigars, enjoy our bourbon. And by the way, can I just share with our special guest we have next week?
You can, but yeah, go ahead.
Are we up against the time?
No, we're at 20 minutes. Go ahead.
Because we do have
Hard to
very-
believe, but we're at 20 minutes.
No, we have a very special guest coming on.
We do.
that's going to join us in the studios,
That's going to be awesome.
in the Bourbon Studio.
I hope he brings us cigars.
It's legit. We're going to have to grow up a little bit here,
And we're going to have to grow up a little bit, or we're going to take one more down a
fuck
path.
that.
That's going to...
Grow up. Why would I start now?
We're not changing now, Mitch. Omar is going to learn the word Mitch.
Mitch.
He's going to be in for a rude
He's
awakening.
going to take it back down to Boca Raton and West Palm there, man. You know,
Sure.
yeah, he's a fine gentleman.
So who is this gentleman?
Omar
Tell us.
Peru. If you're still listening with us here in the fifth segment, just Google Omar Peru. He has 31 best-selling authored books in the New York Times list, not just the Amazon list. This was before the Amazon list kind of became the New York Times list. He is a masterful craftsman at bringing in motivation, at figuring out strategy. I've gotten to know him through a mutual friend of ours, Gary Arblaster.
Right.
And every time you talk to Omar, it's and him and I have in the short time we've known each other, we've connected, and I can't wait to have him. He's coming here to our Bourbon Studio. He's coming up
to Indiana, Pennsylvania.
He's coming up from Indiana,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. We're going to share.
Jimmy Stewart's hometown.
Yeah, right. Bourbons,
We playing golf?
cigar. Well, I'm not sure if Omar plays golf, but he likes cars, so he's coming up for the car show.
Are we filming here in the studio?
Yeah, we are filming right here.
Oh boy, this is good. I'm watching his website. He's a very distinguished motivational speaker.
He is. In fact, he is. So I'm going
He
to
could motivate us not to be such degenerates
Sure,
in the
right.
fifth segment.
He's like, listen, guys, I'm going to shape you guys up.
Yeah, we got to
we're
hope
gonna
that he
clean this
doesn't
up.
watch
and
the
he
fifth
has so
segment.
many good stories. I mean, I can't wait to tell you when
Let's just hope he tags us on his socials.
when
That'd be nice.
When Jeff Bezos, when he called him, when he wanted to put books on Amazon for the first time, when Tony Robbins was looking for motivation, this is the guy they're going to.
We might go 6 segments with this guy.
Oh, we might. We're
I
starting.
mean,
we're
imagine
starting.
the stories he has to tell.
Oh, he has so many stories, right? So we're gonna pair it out of him one bourbon at a time, and we're just gonna keep the bourbanometer up.
Does he like bourbon?
He loves bourbon. He loves cigars, and so as I usually say, the bourbanometer is going down. He's not going to know it's going down. We're just going to keep replacing the bourbon with another bourbon. I don't know. We are making a dent in this bottle.
So
This guy didn't get to where he is not paying attention to
No,
that.
I'm sure he's definitely paying attention to details. But
Right. So, hey, that begs the question, which one of you bourbon producers out there wants to be the bourbon of the night that day?
Oh,
Or
Oh, that's
the
a- that's
bourbon of
a-
the night that day. Who wants to be the sponsor bourbon?
That's a good question.
right.
So I may be bringing back with me a Colonel H. Taylor.
Ooh, H. Taylor.
Yeah, you know the one I'm
yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
the
E.H. Taylor.
the Colonel.
Yeah, I might be bringing because supposedly my brother Dave has a couple of bottles of that still in his cupboard. And I was like, well, we should probably drink one while I'm there. And then maybe I should pack the other one up and bring it home with me.
Bring it home. We got to talk about it. And what a better way to talk about it than with Omar.
It's a small batch, it's a good one.
And Omar and I have, so he's asked me to help him on AI with a few of his. He's got a vast network of folks. It's amazing. So talking with him, and he is a confident somebody that you're looking to bring into your organization to kind of. It's been there. We talked about mistakes. We talked about going through that ups and downs. Omar's been through it. And now he is on boards. He's on, he's a strategic advisor, and he's a friend. And most importantly,
Yeah.
I can't wait to have him down in the Bourbon Studios.
That's going to be a real treat.
in Indiana, PA. We're going to share a cigar. We're going to break into a bourbon. We're going to talk about the bourbon. We're going to talk about life, and we're going to talk about business because it's going to get interesting.
That's going to be awesome.
I look forward to it. I've heard about Omar from Gary, and I truly, I almost met him 2 years ago. Looking forward to having the opportunity next week to sit down and.
Well-
I'm happy next week to sit in the audience and listen and just watch what's what.
You're going to be on stage. We have 3 mics. There's no reason that
We should have Eric Kowalski here for that.
well, he should
Yeah, you got to get EK here.
be. He should
He'd
be.
be all over that.
Yeah, he should be here and just be a part of it too. Because he's a brilliant mind, and I want him to meet Omar because he's a brilliant mind. But
We're gonna have our stage crew get 6 microphones for next week.
Yeah, I don't think
Expand the bar,
I don't
6
know.
microphones.
That's a big task. You don't know how hard it was for us to get 3 that all sync together.
I'm joking.
They'll sell you all the mics you
I don't
want.
want to burden Perry.
I
with
can
that.
run 6 through this mixer, so we could add 2 more.
Uh-oh.
We could definitely add 2 more.
There you go. We're on to something.
It sounds like a boy band.
Or
Which, by the
you
way,
can share them.
are making a big comeback amongst the 45-year-old women group. They're not boy bands. They're now man bands.
Yeah, do they ever go to style?
No, their music.
I mean, if you can
Timeless.
harmonize and you can sing, I mean, I don't care what age you are.
You're right.
And one of the greatest things as we're wrapping up today here in the 5th segment is I love to do, and if you haven't done it already, one of your favorites bands back in the 80s, 90s, or whenever in 2000s, YouTube them and look at their live performance to now, and listen in your headphones as they come in. Are they still performing to the level that you thought they were? And maybe they're going to surprise you, because I send Perry. You know, Perry, you've been on the receiving end.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge music nut.
Speaking of music, by the way, I just got booked at the Indiana Country Club, so I am.
For what?
Well, I am back. Mitch is back hosting karaoke.
Nice.
On August 6th.
I can't even plan for next week, dude. I'm going to say tentatively I'll be there.
So I got that text. Tonight amongst everything else we're doing. Hey, and I got the text from my wife because she's on the social media. Hey, we're here, all 12 of us. 6, they want to book you. I said,
Nice.
I'm in. It's the day before my anniversary. How can I not do a?
You should be joyous.
Yeah, it's a joyous singing occasion. You know what I'm talking about? You remember how you sang so dearfully with that lady?
I did?
Yes, with the lady of 9 to 10 months. He was a special one in your way.
Hey, we have to wrap.
I know.
We gotta wrap.
I am out.
It's a great episode.
Louis is out.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Fun as always.
It is so perfect still.
Next week, Omar.
Omar.
Looking
Omar
forward to
Peru.
seeing you.
All right.
Can't wait to have you. Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
This has been Bourbon with Brad. Be sure to like and follow. Cheers.
The views and opinions shared on the Bourbon with Brad podcast are our own and those of our guests. Nothing we discuss should be taken as financial, legal, business, or gambling advice. Don't make investment, business, or betting decisions based on our conversations, as you should always talk to a qualified professional. Always drink responsibly, never drink and drive, and only consume alcohol if you are of legal drinking age.